It's the season now to look, smile, and love each other. And there at the Workers' Club, you're doing just that.
Problem I have, which no, it's okay. This can be
no,
the
yeah,
opening.
go. Yeah.
That affects the show is I didn't buy the physical book for this, so I read it on my phone and I highlight stuff. I've done this for like 8 weeks in a row, and I'm too stupid to remember. But then when we're doing the show, I pull up a PDF on my computer, which does not have the highlight from my phone. So every week I use no notes because I don't realize they don't translate.
You're all good.
Today.
We're all good because for weeks now, I've underlined almost every sentence, and like I write little comments in the margins like, what's he talking about? What's going on with this guy? Is he okay? He writes like he has a gas leak in the house. I wrote multiple times in this. Basement. Yeah, in the final
in the finished basement.
In the final section, I kept writing, haven't we done this already? Like, what? Is he? Am I crazy?
And then there's parts that are kind of skipped over and time is obscured. It happens with the TNA stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, we've learned nothing.
Because I didn't watch any... I've never watched one moment of TNA in my life. So him jumping around, I was like, wait a minute. What? In this? Did he quit? Is he high? I was so confused because of the time jumps that he does in this book, where he'll be simultaneously quitting and coming back at the same time, but talking about the same people.
Yeah. And then he even gets his years wrong, which I don't know. We'll get there. It's in the first couple chapters.
Okay.
He says, I wanted to do this in WCW 10 years before. And he's talking now because he wrote this in 2009 to 99. But in the book, he's in 2002, which he'd be referring to 1992. He doesn't say 10 years ago. He says 10 years before when he was. He's just a fucking idiot. And he uses Megillah again the wrong way.
Yes.
Second
Listen,
Megillah.
bro, language is fluid.
He is, and like I said, I've written many times.
What school did he go to? It was like University of Indiana?
Yeah,
or Indiana
University. Yeah, you just learned
nothing. His degree should be rescinded. Like
Indiana State.
Is it Indiana State University?
You know, because Indiana State is in Bloomington, I think. Because he says that in here.
Okay. But anyways, I feel like the university should review this, and he clearly did not.
Where did we leave off? Does anybody remember?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. There Ain't No Going Home is the last chapter we did. So Will's birthday is the one we're starting with.
No, we didn't read him going back to WWE with Brian Gewirtz because I didn't talk about Brian Gewertz's section.
Yeah, we did. You even read Gewertz's quotes last week.
I think I read them to you. Did Gus?
Oh man, if it's towards the back end, I'm not gonna be there for that.
I don't think we did. I didn't get to it last week. I think you're just thinking what I personally was like.
I remember we were trying to rush towards the end.
I don't think we did. If Colin were here, he'd tell us.
Okay, no. You did try to start There Ain't No Going Home, but we didn't.
Yes, I did, and then you said...
Yeah, you tried to sneak it in.
Yeah. I was
like... to shoot on us.
Because here's
go ahead and get out your Gewirtz stuff.
Here's the good thing about this last section-ish is that they're all about 2 pages long. He just starts firing off, and And he even says, like, sometimes it takes them, like, weeks to write these 2 pages. Sometimes it takes them a minute.
You're right. We went through like 150 pages, and it was just the 3 weeks before he started WCW. And then since then, we're into TNA, and it's going to be 2008 soon.
This is the Workers Club. It's Wilson, Larry, and Gus.
Let's just get into it. I want to be done with this fucking book so bad.
Why? We're gonna coast right into Christmas.
But I want some Christmas grab bag shows, so I don't want to be bogged down by
we
Russo.
will totally
Christmas
finish this
show.
before Christmas. The Christmas show. We'll totally finish it. If it takes us into next week, that's fine. And then that'll be the end of it. And then we'll do Ring of Glory to ring in the
I
Christ.
want to do the Warrior show.
And maybe we can. Yep, okay, and the Warrior show. No erotica this time.
Maybe.
Okay.
In theory, you have the 17th and 24th. I don't anticipate us doing the 24th, but if we did 23rd or something, that just gives us 2 shows. That's all I'm saying. But who's to say there's not a New Year's show?
I don't think it's
right. Is it? Wait, hold on.
Where we
New
each
Year's Eve?
up whatever we're doing every 15 minutes or
God.
half
Oh
hour.
my God.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we will
do
have to.
1,000 milligrams in a
Okay,
night.
we will have to record on Monday or Wednesday on New Year's Day. I'm unavailable on New Year's Eve. I always am. There Ain't No Going Home, chapter 38. So many chapters in this book. Jeff Jarrett, Vince McMahon, who'd you rather work for? He likens it to Foreman versus Joe Frazier. He still remembers it. One has heart and one doesn't. And he's not saying that Vince is a bad guy. He really isn't. But if you're making money for McMahon, he loves you. However, the second that cash cow drops some manure, it's on to the next side of beef. What a turn of phrase there. And Jeff is genuinely a Southern gentleman. And he sincerely cares about people who work for him. Does he have a mean streak? Sure. But it's not like, you're dead to me. He certainly didn't show it when, without missing a beat, he told me to hire a nanny. He's talking about Vince again. He brings up the nanny thing again. Vince said to hire a nanny to raise my kids. And family's important to Jeff. He says again, okay, so this Vince's thing is, he's like, God damn, I cannot sell this fucking home in Atlanta. Fuck. And so his idea is, if I get work for Vince again, he'll buy the fucking home and move me back. So he says Vince would buy my home and get me back to the East Coast where I thought I belonged. Which, again, I'm like, hasn't it already been established that, like, as if Vince would care?
I know.
Yeah, it'd be just like, you're flying to the damn mansion at your expense, pal.
And also, he wants to explain to Vince face to face why he left in the first place, something he'd always longed to do. So he calls Vince, and Vince is eager to take his call. And he goes, well, of course, his business was way down. He's talking about the threes. They're in the threes. They were in the fours. Now they're in the threes. So he goes to Vince's mansion. Things were the same. After waiting nearly 30 minutes for his grand entrance, he came downstairs. I gave Vince a hug. But to be honest, the response was stiffer than a Kurt Angle. He puts it then. It should be than. A Kurt Angle uppercut. So he looks at Vince and he goes, was I just a cash cow? Or did you really care about me and my calves? Parentheses, family. Or sorry, brackets, family. I'll never in 17 billion years. What a number to put on it. 17 billion years. Forget the words that made up Vince's emotionless answer. Vince, when you work as closely with someone the way I worked with you, then you have to care about them. 2 years and that was it? My closure? That was the answer I was searching for? You work with somebody for a long time and you have to care about them? No, you don't.
2 years
I-
is nothing.
I worked for years with people who I never cared about. Vince just couldn't find it in his heart to tell me that as a human being, as a person, he genuinely cared about me. God, he's so thirsty.
Yeah, it's your job, man. Okay, that's this is capitalism. When you don't make money anymore, they turn you out. I mean, what are we doing? Vince is
Why
a
does-
fucking idiot.
Why does he want validation so bad from McMahon?
From Dad.
I don't know. If we
Just-
read the first book,
yeah.
we'd probably know more.
Yeah. Oh, but he goes, but it is true. That's like he does in this book. In this book, he definitely is like, give me the credit for the Attitude Era. Give me some kind of just a little nod that I was helping. Fuck. He just keeps seeing the business. He's saying it's going down, but he keeps seeing the business just continuing and succeeding on its own, whatever. And he's going, I'm just getting buried. Nobody
He
even
wants
cares.
he wants the Puff Piece documentary.
Yes. Because he does bring up the other ones. Yeah, he doesn't like the WCW book. He doesn't like any of the WWE docs. He definitely probably hates the one that just came out that was an Eric Puff piece and was like, actually, it was Vince. After that, so he's like, he goes in on Vince, where he's like, I just want him to genuinely, give me kudos, say that he cared about me. And he goes, well, if that's the attitude he has, if that's what it takes to be rich with money, then I'll die a poor, caring slob. Well, after the first meeting, there was a second. I was like, well, nevertheless, eat your shit, Vince. He lays down the entire creative direction for the year to Vince. My main story was that Vince would hire Eric Bischoff as the GM of his company, working off a somewhat shoot. And he goes, so it's Eric eating Vince's shit. And then Vince becomes fond of Eric because he's taking his shit. And once he had Vince's trust, then Eric would kick into action his plan to overtake Vince McMahon and the mighty WWE, but this time it would be from within. And I was like, I think I've heard this story before of Eric leading a faction from within to take over a company.
Yep.
But
And he's even done it with kids before. David Flair, right? Wasn't Bischoff in on that? Or yeah, he was part of the NWO.
I have no idea. Gus was David Flair part of the NWO?
I feel like it. I haven't
Well, they-
gotten there yet in my
No.
rewatch.
But earlier, remember when they were trying to corrupt him with Tori?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that
Right,
iteration.
it's easy
Yeah.
to.
Was
Jesus.
Tori in the NWO?
Kind of.
She was like Hogan and Nash's object
Yeah.
of affection.
So okay. I was gonna say so she was out there so Hogan and Nash could ogle,
Yeah.
corner her in the back.
You don't
and
remember
be
that
like,
one out? It's the whole first hour of Nitro in black and white. They're at the shooting range,
That's
and they're
weird,
just like
man.
making jokes about her tits and.
Yeah.
No. Never seen it. Don't know it. Sounds great. Sounds
Yes.
like great.
Us capped it. I mean, it was.
That's great.
you were there.
I mean, yes. Hey, look, if anybody here wants to, maybe we should put the Discord link just right in the Blue Sky bio. If you want to join the
Not a
Discord,
bad
Gus
idea. I would
Gus
do
is
that.
doing the Lord's work, capping all kinds of old territory stuff, and
I did want to bring up. Now that you're just about at the end of the first Russo,
the
right?
wife.
Better or worse than the 3 months that were before it?
Oh fuck, that's a tough one. Poof.
She's already
I'm gonna say it's more watchable, but
Do me a
not
favor.
productive.
No,
I don't know. It's-
Juice.
I thought about it all day at work, and I couldn't come up with.
I'll
an
give you
answer.
$1.
Yeah, I'm.
I'm treating this just like I treat when Gus does. The amount of work he does of like chronicling the best moments of this stuff. And I am of this trio the anti-old wrestling stuff guy. And I'm asking my wife for like lime juice. You guys, I don't know. I think you guys have a sickness when you watch this old stuff. It's a sickness. I think you. It's, as much as you guys think me trying to at least entertain modern stuff is a sickness. Gus might be the purest of us all. He does the modern and the old. You don't think it's a sickness that I try to at least entertain the modern to be good?
No. I try to, and it repels me, and I'll try again in a few months. And
so you're trying.
Yeah.
Gus and I are out. Are you out, Gus? Or I'm out. I've been out. I kind of like. I'm waiting to hear about.
I mean, I'll still watch like the big shows if I'm not doing anything else. But AEW, it's not. I don't go out of my way in the slightest to watch it, and even if it's on, it's in the background, like super half-assed.
She not only brought me lime juice, but she also brought me simple syrup. Thank you. Oh, this is gonna make this drink very tasty.
Fancy boy drink.
Oh yeah, she didn't bring the egg whites to make it a little frothy. I'm waiting for Gus to tell me when AEW is good, and when he's like, "We're back, baby," then I'm turning it on. Well, look, you know what? I'm gonna turn it. I'm turn it on for Hammerstein. Or is it Hammerstein? The Hammerstein. The ballroom. I'll turn it on for that. I'll watch that
I
show.
thought you meant the TNA guy.
No. The Tyler Durden cosplaying guy. I know who he is. With the red leather pants. All right. So, so the only person that would be wise to all this would be Vince's son Shane. And then he does a very Vince Russo thing where he's like, there was more detail to it, but that was the gist.
You know how I am about details.
Yeah, needless to say, Vince loved the idea. I'll do the Brian stuff after we get through all of this. Like his version, then we'll do Brian's, because it's very short and succinct. Of like his
stop here to tell Brian's version.
No,
please.
you want to do it now, or do you want to
do it now?
Okay, before he gets into his version. Okay,
yeah.
Just so we have it in our head. Here it is. He just goes. Well, now we're back to Brian's. There's just one problem, and Brian had debated about putting Russo in his book. But narratives must be corrected. And he says, see now here, Russo's about to say there are a bunch of guys, faceless guys in the room. And he goes, there were not 20 writers. And they were not nameless and faceless. And he lays out who was there. He says, let's see. He goes, here's Vince's big idea. Shane McMahon and Eric Bischoff. Everyone knows as a shoot about the personal heat between Eric and Shane. And Brian says, they do?
Man, when Brian's clowning on you, that's... Oh, jeez.
He goes, he brings up what we have said, where he goes, imagine you're watching Breaking Bad, and it's the tense scene with Walt and Hank in the garage. Suddenly Walt walks off, sits down, refers to himself as Bryan Cranston, starts talking about how personally he didn't think Hank should have discovered Walt's secret while sitting on the toilet. Then he walks back into the scene with Hank and says, Dean, I mean this is an absolute shoot. Tread lightly, bro. If that happened, you'd probably want to throw yourself in a bath of hydrofluoric acid. So points to Brian on that.
This is Bryan Cranston.
So he lays out his big thing is, of course, this is Russo, but Russo does not bring this up. We'll see. Is that Undertaker's old, he needs to be rebranded, he's not hip, and we need to make him cool again. So let's take the title off of him. And let's make RVD champ.
Undertaker was over, and this is like, I fucking loved the Taker during this period. Like,
Biker Taker?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I told you. I said you guys were. I told you guys were freaks. I said that, and now there's proof and there's evidence. He's a pervert. He's a sicko. He's going over there. Gus is going booger red, booger red.
Yes, he's digging holes and taking souls.
So Brian says to this idea, stripping the Undertaker of their title and mapping out a tournament just because a test audience of 3 teenagers at a CD warehouse thought it'd be neat
Oh
did not
shit!
necessarily seem like the wisest move.
See, that's
yes.
why we do this.
Brian's
Now,
read the
that's
book.
a great fucking shot.
Yeah, Brian's read the book and he's not happy with Vince's version.
Wow, that's awesome.
Bro, Will says RVD is the thing. We gotta go with him.
What was the CD warehouse's guy named? Big Dog?
Yeah.
Dog?
Guys,
Dogman.
he's
Dogman.
Hold on, Dogman's calling me. Something must be going down at the CD warehouse. Hold on. He's just chased down another black kid. Hold on. So then Russo he's looking at he's looking at the brackets. He's making he's going into his mind palace. He's creating the brackets on the whiteboard. By the way, so who's sitting there? It's Gewurz, Michael Hayes, Paul Heyman, and I think Stephanie might be on speakerphone, but he doesn't know that. Bro, have you guys ever done Chris Jericho versus Triple H? Michael Hayes. Without saying motherfucker, but implying it. Motherfucker, that was literally the main event of this year's WrestleMania. And Brian goes, how do you come in here and pitch this stuff and not at least familiarize yourself with the last year of the product? From there, we talked about a number of other things, including Russo's desire to bring back China. Footnote alert. Or as he called her, China. We gotta bring back China and reform DX. And he goes, we can do it. We bring back China. Road Dogg's almost out of prison. We gotta reform DX, bro.
Oh, that's a shot, right? Didn't Brian not like Armstrong James, Brian James?
Yeah, they did not.
The saddest thing I ever saw him do was they did the Divas thing where Paige got in trouble for like swearing, and they had him be like, you got to behave yourself back here. And it's like, that's this guy's role now, is being like, I've been there, high as a kite, making a fool of myself.
He's gotten to on Twitter about criticism for writing SmackDown. Remember there was that period where he was like going back and forth with people.
That's what him and Vince Russo get along. Why is the internet so mean to us?
Well, I mean, how catty is Brian that he's working in a... he's on a roll. I mean, he's good. If he was this way at other times...
So now
he's
it's
rolling
time
and people are getting shrapnel.
He says Michael Hayes. He says, we just did what Vince told us to do, which was to just work with him, accept his ideas, and then report back to me and make it work. Just take his ideas. And
I'm sorry,
go.
but there's no way Russo said Road Dogg's almost out of prison. Just a false.
Well, maybe he was like, we'll get rid of 4, and somebody's like, he's in prison. He was like, how is he out? They're like, I don't know, maybe.
Because I don't even think he wasn't in prison. He might have had like a drug thing, but not prison.
To prove that they took all the ideas in stride, Michael Hayes didn't even fart loudly to voice his displeasure, as was his custom. You can see why Vince McMahon loves this guy being in the office. Michael Hayes doesn't like it. He just farts. So then they go to recap their meeting with Vince McMahon. Vince says that we buried him behind his back. Why? Because according to him, we had no choice. None of us had what it took to lead the WWE to any level of success. And deep down, we all knew that once Russo was hired, there would be no need for us. The truth is, in Russo's argument, much like his WCW shows, see if you can pick up on a common theme here, this didn't make any sense. Putting aside the fact that Paul Heyman was an already integral on-screen character, Michael Hayes was never going to be fired, and I had the support of all of WWE's top talent, Vince McMahon was never going to fire an entire writing staff and then just let one writer be in charge again. Why?
Sorry.
He already...
Support of all of the top talent.
Well, he said much.
Brian.
But much all,
Relax.
We're splitting hairs.
The Rock.
Well, here he goes. He goes. It is true. He goes. Basically, Vince
Gregory
McMahon.
Helms.
It's like when Austin and Rock left, for greener pastures, or anybody left. Vince McMahon got burned by 2 writers, and he's like, "Here's the solution. I'll have 20 writers."
That's 40 hands if I'm lucky.
So he's like, Vince Russo can't understand that he himself created this situation that Vince is never going to fire any of us until we just quit. So they tell him about the Eric Bischoff thing, the Shane thing, the tournament, the DX. Vince's face. We knew that look. Vince hated
What was
it.
the DX? To get DX back together?
Yep. Vince hated it. All of it. Vince kind of liked the Bischoff thing. Wait, Vince? No, he did not. He found it as appealing as a month-long diet of Taco Bell.
Well, we'll talk about it. It's not. I mean, the thing at the end is silly, but it starts off kind of what it was.
Yeah.
Well, he says Vince doesn't like that Russo clearly hasn't been watching. He doesn't like that. That offends him. But he asks them, "What do you guys think?" And that's where they go into, "Well, we can make it work. Like, if Eric Bischoff's, if you want to bring him in and hire him, we can make it work. And an RVD championship, we can not strip Taker, but we can lead to that. We can make that work. And if we wanted to reform DX, by the way, Triple H is also the biggest heel in the company right now, and does not want to at all go back to DX. Well, then let's, figure it out if that's what you want to do, Vince." And then Vince apologized, which is the first time Brian had ever seen that. "This isn't going to work. I'm sorry I brought that asshole back." So he gets brought on, according to Brian, he gets brought on as a consultant. And so all Brian does is what kind of Vince was doing in WCW for a time. Brian calls him, says, "Here's the show." Vince gives his thoughts. They either take him or they don't. He's consulting. And they move on. And after a couple of weeks, Russo leaves for TNA. He says that despite that, everyone was against him, that Stephanie and Triple H were conspiring against him, at the end of the day, Vince McMahon does what Vince McMahon wants to do. And then he does the Brian Gord thing. He just can't go on a roll here. He has to end it poorly. The Mans didn't screw Russo. The writers didn't screw Russo. Russo screwed Russo. Now that's a swerve.
Russo claims at one point Triple H and Stephanie were against him.
Yes.
Back. I mean,
Comes up
Stephanie
here.
probably was.
Stephanie, Triple H doesn't get brought up.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Russo probably asked her, what color your panties are, and
Oh, dear.
So, back to Russo's book, where now he's presenting the Eric Shane idea. Needless to say, Vince loved the idea.
I mean, besides the Bischoff thing being similar, and I know it was just a one-night thing, but remember, Triple H, Shawn Michaels' return, they do that DX reunion, and then he turns on him, and it was a fake-out deal, so that wasn't totally off either.
You think that they said,
I mean, he stays heel, but,
Maybe so. Russo's watching that
those
going,
20 hacks in the room stole some ideas from that hack.
Interesting.
And it's just dumb people stealing ideas from dumb people.
What if we faked a DX return? Yeah. I would. So, Vince says to him that he would oversee Raw and SmackDown while working under her daughter, Stephanie. And then Vince does this thing that's a theme in all of our books. I guess that's what it was. It was never officially said to me. And no one's going to follow up and be like, "What's the hierarchy here?"
would have given me a job description.
The following morning, before the second meet, I met Shane McMahon for breakfast. No doubt Shane was thrilled to hear that I was coming back. Shane was one of the best on-air personalities that I ever worked with. Yes, even better than his old man. Then he goes back into how Vince was too corny for him. I feel
we said it
Go ahead.
about his love of David Flair. This guy's
Yeah.
got no eye for talent.
He just loves he loves the Suns,
That's
David
true.
Flair,
I keep
Eric
forgetting
Watts,
this. Yes.
Shane. He loves the Suns.
Atlantis Jr.
But to say he's better than Vince, what the fuck? Come on.
I feel that Shane just brings much more credibility to his character.
Yeah, those punches, they're very credible.
And then he goes, during my breakfast with the prince, and this is when I knew that Vince just backed the wrong horse. He's all in on Shane. He thinks he can't fathom that it's Stephanie that is the picked one.
A broad?
A broad? A diva? With Shane not being on air at the time, I had no idea why. I confidently told him, my plans to get you back on TV where you belong. So he goes over to the TV studio. Here we go. Before even saying
hang on. Anyone? I have a scenario in my head. You know, in The Sopranos, when Tony goes over to Italy and finds out they have a female boss, and goes, "It would never happen in America." That's Russo going back, seeing Stephanie in charge, and saying, "This should never happen in the Attitude Era."
Bro, they at least once a month the writing is going to be crazy.
She could make gay men menstruate.
yeah.
Toxic
Stephanie.
shock, Stephanie.
Stephanie, have you seen my format for bitch slap?
I read those to the wife last night, and I got reactions.
Oh, yeah?
She loved it.
Yes.
She loved all the preteen boys going to the playground to be like, did you see Scroll got raped last night?
I'm sliding into puberty.
Before even, he's an unsettling person. Straight up. By the way, I was thinking about, okay, should we interview him? Should we not? Should we do a bit? I watched Brian Zane's interview with him, and I think at that point, Brian Zane had also covered Ring of Glory and all this other stuff. And Vince is doing the thing where he's like touching his shoulder and kind of like jostling him a little bit and going, do your impersonation of me to me, bro. And I was like, God, if I was Brian Zane's being so polite and so nice. And I was like, if he grabbed my fucking shoulder, I'd be cupping his breast and being like, what are we getting handsy here? Let's get handsy. And he's doing, I respect you for doing that in front of me. What, he's acting Italian. Like a clown? Yeah, I know. Oh, fucking. Before even
I understand what you're. I mean,
yeah, I was like, this fucking. And then we pay him to do this.
And he's just such a coward. We're going to do it when we get to the Piper thing. Have you watched it recently? Or seen it ever?
He's talking to you guys. I saw maybe a blur.
The one in TNA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it, I think, during COVID, so I don't recall. I just remember it being a fucking...
It's a little different
about Owen dying, and, like...
Yeah, it's
just dumb.
It's a little different than what he explains in the book, and he's just so... I don't know.
Is he shooting? I can't tell. Does he have a San Francisco jersey on?
Well, to pay attention.
Everything for sex was a shoot.
That's true. We'll get into
that. Was one of the most mystifying things I've ever read in my life.
It was all real. So before even setting one foot, so they're going to the TV studio, which I think he means. Does he mean the building that they would film stuff in, or you think he means Titan Towers?
No, I think over to Towers, probably wherever they do those, production shoots.
Yeah.
Before even setting one foot in the building, things felt strange. Why were the booking meetings now... Oh, this is such a revealing paragraph. Why were the booking meetings now at the TV studio? When Ed and I were writing TV, the meetings were held at my house in front of my 46-inch Mitsubishi television.
Because it's a fucking publicly traded company, Vince.
That way, we could work and watch the Jerry Springer show simultaneously. The stodginess and confines of writing TV in an office, that just wouldn't have worked for us.
This is like when, maybe this will be my bit tonight. This is like when Feach Lamana gets out of prison and he can't adapt to the new way of doing things.
It's like the work ethic is like pathetic. He just like, you're supposed to fuck off. Like if I was Amy, I'd be like, so you just watched Jerry Springer and wrote like shitty, trashy TV, like not even you didn't even write scripts.
Bitch slap. This is what you've been working on.
You want to drive to Stanford to write down like, and then Tori gets a top taken off. Anyways, back to the boob tube.
And you need me to cover your shifts at the CD warehouse.
Yeah, dude.
Tell Big Dog where the safe is.
I
Dog man.
I saw a midget on Jerry Springer that gave me idea. What if we have a midget run through the crowd? That okay.
I'm the midget's your son.
Why didn't they ever book Steve to do a run-in? A security guard.
Oh,
that would have been good.
Yeah, you don't remember the ball
Jerry. Sorry, Jerry.
Yeah.
The muscle.
Yeah.
It had to be. It was
down between him and Austin.
It was pitched.
He's probably like half a foot taller than Austin, though.
Yeah.
You know that famous
Steve Volkos.
You know that famous clip? What's the producer guy that on Howard, and he got a bunch of shit for running away on 9/11. That he went home. He's the only one that went home. Casey.
Yeah.
Where does Vince Russo land on that debate? Because Vince Russo took 9/11 very hard. Does he side with Casey? You should go home. You should what are you supposed to do? Or is he with Howard? Is he a Howard fanboy going, Casey, you bitch, you're a girl. Robin's right.
I think he'd be on the side of Casey. Yeah, since he took 9/11 so seriously, he'd be on that side of Casey's side. I forgot about that argument. That's a little before my time.
He fears Casey.
Yeah.
Casey, but then he would Howard is a personality that would totally have Vince just a puppeteer, like dancing, whatever you want, bro.
Well, I said before, Vince Russo is Sal the stockbroker, just with a different interest. Backdoors his way onto the thing he's a huge fan of, and doesn't really do anything. But
could you imagine him doing a thing where he got some kind of back deal because of the show, and Howard calls him out about it?
Well, now we're fantasy booking Stern show.
I know.
Russo as a kid.
Vince, you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong, Vince. Bro, I was just doing what I thought was in my best. I thought that the show would get more out of. Oh, you're right, Howard. You're right.
Me
you're
hosting
right.
a wet T-shirt contest at.
Howard, you're right. I'm sorry. He does that thing where he's doing that insincere, like, I should have checked with you, and you're right, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You been watching shows lately or something?
I don't know. It just is in my mind. I liked Jackie, and Jackie got yelled at once.
The Cardoza Hotel.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Was that the Miami?
Yeah, when he mentioned the name of the hotel.
The station manager. Why do you think that they said yes? And then the wife calls in. Leave him alone. I remember. Okay, so he goes. I remember this as if it were yesterday. What does it say? Amy pleading for Vince to act like a professional. That's what I wrote in the margins. Because he goes, man, I'd smelled this before. The stench of corporate was gagging me as I walked in the door. And he remembers, like, impression of my first glance at the WWE brain trust. It's seared in his brain. It was so powerful. So he walks in. It's so powerful, the stench and just the whole corporateness of it. He had to take a step back. He's physically, ugh. What I saw was a room chock full of kids, children, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking scared to death.
with actual writing credits and success.
There was a sea of them. I've never been to a Star Trek convention in my life, but I swear to you, this is what one would surely must have looked like. They were mocks. That's all I can say. I felt it then and I feel it
You're
now.
into Kiss.
Yeah, I mean, he would go to like a baseball card show, and those crowds don't look much better than a wrestling crowd.
And then
Yeah.
Brian said it was Michael Hayes, him, Paul Heyman. What's the one guy that ends up writing for a long time?
I want to get Willie Mays to sign my cap.
I got a great Rod Carew story. Tom Siva.
The way Brian presents it was like five guys. Brian's one of the ones he's talking about that's like a nerd, and then the other one is like Ed Koski. What's the one guy that ends up writing for a million years
Yeah, I think so.
on SmackDown?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but
But
so
I mean, the fucking atmosphere aside, you can't just do your fucking job. It's that draining on you.
that's the theme of this whole book, where somebody's like, "Can you just do this job?" And he's like, "Yes," or maybe I can't. Maybe
You're
I
right.
needed to be.
He pretty much explains why he can't do every job he gets, because he's gonna do it again soon.
Yeah, he even at the very end goes, "What a vicious cycle wrestling is!" like it's just him getting hired, not doing his job, and then getting fired, and not liking his job. Vince had groomed. Oh, first he goes, "They had no business being in that room writing that TV." Vince had groomed me for years before I ever got the pencil. What had these kids ever done? Who had they ever beaten? The only
Whose head have they shat on?
And then he goes, I did see Michael Hayes and Paul Heyman.
I mean, hang on, but it wasn't at that time. But they've had Patrice O'Neill and Freddie Prinze in that writing room. Those two people alone are, 1,000 times more successful than Vince Russo will ever be. And that's not a high bar, because I'm not talking about A-list stars, but they're.
I mean, Brian Gewertz having one ABC Family credit is more successful than Vince ever was.
Yeah.
And then Vince could be like, well, I wrote the greatest ratings show of all time with Ed Ferrara on the Attitude Era. Brian Gewertz, how long did he last? Over the years, the money accumulated on shows and business and deals.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go like who generated more money, like Brian probably did.
Yeah.
Over time.
That's that one weird thing where I don't even know if Russo has a coherent answer for if you think they're doing so bad, because his thing is he'll say it's shit and look at the rating to prove it. I was doing 7s, now they're getting 1.4 million. But you're like, well, the company's more profitable than it's ever been. I don't know what is his answer to that.
Slot viewer writing was not marketable.
I saw a thing he recently talked about where he said his take was, has this ever happened before where so much money was being made for a product that was so bad? That was his take. That he kind of didn't. He was like, "What is that? Why is
Which,
this?"
to me, gets the Principal Skinner response of, it's not me, it's them.
Well, it's just like it's kind of like it goes into the Dave thing where Dave's like, "Well, they make money, they draw, so it can't be bad, right?" And it's like, "Well, does that make every movie that's a blockbuster the best movie of the year?"
No, but it's not that extreme either.
It's not to the
yeah.
But also, like, what he's and then like his little thoughts on like what they should be doing. It's like, Vince, it's wrestling, just it's fine. So he's doing the thing that he doesn't like, that he didn't like people doing to him, of like, who'd you beat? What have you ever done? Over the next 3 hours, I laid out the TV for them for the next year. Storylines, characters, plots, twists that were way beyond their comic book realm of understanding. jaws weren't just dropping; they were crashing to the carpet. And then Brian in his book was like, "Yeah, they were dropped because we were like, this is bad."
And it's your job as a lead writer to make them understand. If people can't understand your pitch that are like responsible for writing it, what do you think the audience is going to do?
They were so afraid of losing their jobs. And you know what? They should have been. At the time, the writing was atrocious. They'd taken the masterpiece of painting that Ed and I had perfected over 3 years, and they'd graffitied it with their Crayolas in less than 2. Shame on them. Shame on them all.
2000 is so much better than everything in 98 and 99.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Post
But
WrestleMania
no,
2000 to like December is awesome. Every fucking show.
Heyman and Hayes said nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's obvious to see from the description that what I was doing was absolutely burying myself. Taking the shovel and just heaving the cold, hard dirt all over myself.
At least he understood that.
Yeah.
Then he brings up Ashley Simpson's nose job, because it's, I guess at that time, I think maybe topical. And then he does the thing of like, well, if this guy's hired, he'd be doing all our jobs. He's just plotted out every single wrestler, every single storyline. What would there be for us?
No one's that smart.
And he said he could read it on their faces that's what they were thinking.
This is a thought. Is it stupid to book a year out for wrestling? Like,
well,
I
and
think
not
I'm
only
sure.
that,
I would do quarter to quarter.
Quarter to quarter, huh?
yeah, for sure. But
Maybe have
Russo
an
himself-
overarching.
But he's contradicting because he has said himself for years that he booked 98, 99 week to week.
Yeah.
That he never thought of long-term stuff. So I don't know why he's pretending like now he's got a year-long plan. He would never.
Or all of a
say
sudden
that.
Vince works like that. And
Yes, Vince is like,
He
give
would
me your
never be
year.
able to extend his stories that long.
Well, he says, well, they weren't going to bury me, but Michael Hayes and Paul Lee Heyman, they were going to do it. But Vince doesn't care. He's just there to help the sinking ship. That's what he's going to do. Because here's the reason. It's simple. In his heart of hearts, he knows that if they bury him to Vince, they just would all eventually lose their jobs, because their inability to achieve would catch up with them at some point. And taking me out, they'd sooner or later cut their own throats, because at the end of the day, I was the only one that could help them.
And who were like the two most longly tenured people?
yeah.
Those two. Somehow.
God, he's delusional.
So he goes, now you're probably wondering, where was Stephanie during all this? Because remember, he's supposed to report to Stephanie.
And I mean, just like, let's think about it. How shitty of a person you have to be to make Michael Hayes the babyface in this situation?
To be like in a room and going, Michael, I know you're going to bury me to Vince. Well, guess what? That's going to be the end of your days, bro. Because you're going to bury Vince, and he's going to be like, these are all good ideas. Why do I even need you, Michael Hayes, who's been around forever? Just eating shit. Why? Where was Stephanie during all this? Well, Stephanie wasn't there. But then Vince gets summoned to an empty office, and Stephanie's on speakerphone, and he's
This
like,
is what you were talking about. Okay.
obviously one of her stooges had already called her and filled her in on the gist of the meeting. Now, understand this. She was a creative director in training. So
you're you're implying that she was on the call the whole time.
I think so, because somebody
Russo
calls
just
her.
doesn't. Yeah, with notes of everything that quickly.
Back in the day, he's reminiscing that Stephanie would attend the creative meetings with Vince, Ed, and Vince, her dad, Ed, and Russo, and then it would just not say anything and just kind of take notes. And she was listening and learning as she should have. So imagine how shocked I was when this disembodied voice spent 10 minutes talking down to me. Not only like a redheaded stepchild, but a redheaded and freckled stepchild.
Oh man. You
He
know
is
what
such a
I would
fucking
do to hear
worm.
that audio
Yeah.
of Stephanie in her
I-
natural habitat talking down to Russo?
Oh my
It
god.
was probably stuff like, Vince, I understand that you want Chris Jericho and Triple H in the tournament. We've done that at WrestleMania. Just like, so I don't know if you have any, that's already been covered. And as far as the heat between my brother and Eric Bischoff, I'm not sure if everybody's aware of it as you think they are.
Did he ever say anything like gross about Stephanie, like prior to this or after?
I don't
She's a
recall.
virgin on the cross, Vince. She's
I
the
mean-
virgin sacrifice.
Well, yeah. I remember Pritchard when he was on the outs, like 1 week on the podcast, he implied certain things, and then like walked him back. But still, the fact that he did it was,
What did he imply?
I don't, just her partying in her college years. It was just some kind of double entendre, kind of hinting at something. He was being a little naughty.
He's being a little naughty.
Yeah.
Hold on here. A little syrup, a little lime juice. So, Stephanie treated me with no respect. Zero. Could she have been as insecure as the rest of the class? Maybe.
How much respect did Russo extend to Stephanie?
What I like is
training.
what I learned from this is you do not criticize Vince before the show, you do not criticize him during the show, and you definitely don't criticize him after. Just no criticism of any of his ideas. There's no good time to bring up criticism.
Right, because if they don't say anything and then he does it all, be like, why didn't they tell me that Jericho faced Triple H at WrestleMania? That's why it didn't work.
Was it in my onboarding packet?
I left Stanford, not Stanford, Stanford, without seeing Vince again.
Sean Stasiak. That was another one of his fucking bullshit second generation guys.
Ooh, yeah. There was no how this thing was ever going to work.
Right, okay.
The only one who wanted me there was Vince. And even though I understand that sounds like I'm blowing my own horn, it was the truth. I remember going home and my boys being all excited to get the news. They all think, hey, we're going to get some WWE money. All right, here we go. Yippee. I couldn't even look them in the eye. I had to get Amy alone to explain to her that as much as I wanted this to happen, for the sake of getting the family back home, it just wasn't going to work. Amy looked at me and said, well, maybe that's why Vince was trying to call you while you were flying home.
God, Amy should... What are you doing, Amy?
This next paragraph is...
Russo thinks it's just Vince and Vince. He goes, we were the only two wanting this thing to happen. We both knew the magic we created together when we were in our own little world, small and manageable.
This is that thing that all of the released talent do. Remember? Vince loved me. It was everybody else, and that's why I'm not there anymore.
Man, we will never get like the 40-season documentary series that we need on Vince McMahon to like dramatize every conversation he's ever had and every
you gotta get Josh Brolin to do it. Let's sign it on. Let's write a script for Apple TV.
As much as I would know what to expect if they lined up wrestlers to sit down for 20 minutes and each one was like, so why did you think Vince was like a dad despite this, and this? And just seeing their blank stare and they're kind of like smile to themselves like, you just don't understand. Like the kind of like vacant, blank, empty response. I would still sit down and watch every single response of them grappling it with as the wheels turn. They just go,
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. He was like my dad.
Publicly traded company.
It's wrestling.
No, but my mind is so aroused. I could lay out an 8-season outline of a Vince HBO.
Guys,
Prestige.
are we talking about writing rope opera?
Vince McMahon, not
Well,
Russo.
which, by the way, Vince Russo talks about writing rope opera, but never
But a
tells us
McMahon
exactly
prestige
what-
show? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Who here watched Succession?
I didn't.
Okay.
I got through like 68% of it.
There's a scene where the dad throws the cell phone. That his spoilers. If you've never seen Succession, spoilers. The youngest son accidentally sends a dick pic to his father that is meant for another high-ranking employee, and the acting Kieran Culkin does when he realizes that he tapped the message and accidentally sent it, and then he gets pulled into a room with his dad, and his dad throws the phone and goes, "What are you, some kind of fucking pervert? Some kind of fucking sicko?" So good. That's Vince. There's a Vince thing of somebody going, Vince Senior going, "What are you, pervert? What are you, some kind of sicko?"
That's the foreshadowing scene.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
Well, I mean,
scene.
he's done that
Oh, yeah.
himself with
Vince
that
is
Playboy
like,
interview.
yeah. 11-year-old Vince is like smelling tights or something backstage, or
What if there's crunchy leaves in here? What?
oh god.
Imagine, somebody probably tried to talk to him about that even in a joking way, and he's like, "I don't remember the past. I don't know what I said." It's like, okay, whatever. You're just unknowable. So they're creating magic, but nobody cared. All they cared about was their own jobs. Oh, we were wrong. Yeah, he does say it. All they cared about was their own job security, including Mr. Levesque. So there you go. Triple H was also involved. He didn't stand up for Vince even. Let me just publicly say it, and this is just my opinion. Vince McMahon made the single worst decision for his company when he put his daughter in charge of creative.
The single worst decision. So,
Yeah.
even sending Owen Hart up the catwalk, putting Stephanie in charge was a bigger mistake.
Yes.
Just to put one out there.
Technically, he's right, because what happens is she gets on the board
Yes.
with her husband. She resigns. This board, they come back. Then they vote in it. And in the long arc of history, that he is right.
Peanut, come here, buddy.
The problem is Vince can never replace her. Never. I said, yeah, she'll quit and resign, and no one will ever ask about it. So he says he calls Vince back. And his first words to me are, "Vince, this isn't going to work out." And I said, "Why, Vince? Because the second I left that room, all your minions buried me to you?" He says, then the conversation got a bit ugly. And he said he was upset with the veterans in the room, and you know who they are. And I was like, yeah, Paul and Michael. You only mentioned two. They didn't have the guts to bury me to my face. You talk about bravado all the time, Vince. What happened to yours? You're not the same guy I knew 2 years ago. You and I both know that you want this to happen, but you're going to kowtow to a bunch of people who are afraid of losing their jobs. Where's the bravado, Vince?
What a freak.
In hindsight, the real reason was Stephanie. But the fact that I would be reporting to Stephanie was a ridiculous notion to both Vince and I. And Vince knew it.
Okay.
My last line to Vince McMahon was, "Vince, forget business for a minute. From a personal standpoint, I'm telling you, you don't have the people in the room to turn your product around. Where are your horses, Vince?" That's not what he said. That was in July 2002, and the rating was at 3.7. Last night's Raw, April 28th, 2008, 6 years later, 3.3.
But if you
Whoa!
factor in cord cutting, that's actually the same rating.
I like that he's like 3.7 versus 3.3.
I know.
What is that?
It's
Like
not even a
100,000 people, 200,000. What is that? That's like somebody going, that guy hit 325 and that guy hit 330. Okay.
Well, if you factor in the X War and
Same people, same results, same daughter, same results.
What did he sell for? $9 billion, Vince?
Yeah. What does Vince think about Luigi Mangione? Goddamn.
I knew the Wops edited him.
Or is he falling like is he like weirdly gotten online in his like retirement and like he's falling down these holes where he's like, Nancy Pelosi. That's what I heard. Texting Paul. Have you heard Nancy Pelosi's responsible?
I think he's doing a bunch of coke and working on Alpha Entertainment or whatever.
Yeah,
it
that
is.
doesn't seem Vince's style to me. In fact, I'm almost.
Have you heard about
impressed
Twitter?
He was able to adapt himself to like as much corporate buzz talk as he did. That he like made himself fit into that. I know he like wanted to, but
What's the restaurant that he goes to like every week? And they're like, oh boy. The guy that poops on
Nobu.
everybody's back. Yeah. That guy. Well, he's got a lot of money, so we can't treat him like absolute shit.
The place he went with Cena. Remember when he had that different woman with him?
It's like some kind of steakhouse. Give me the 86 ouncer. All right.
Probably going to Chuck Berry's.
Oh, God. Vince called back less than 15 minutes later, asking me if I'd consider coming on as a consultant. And then he tells Vince I'd have to think about it.
You
But then-
asshole! He's offering you a fucking paycheck. Just take it. Like that's
Well, Brian's version is that he
I-
took it and he worked it, but then Vince's version, after he hangs up with Vince, click, Jeff calls, beep. Vince, I need you to write my TV. It was Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, exactly. Russo's fudging a lot of things here.
Are we ready for the birth of TNA?
Yeah, we gotta speed up a little bit
Okay, we will.
because I
Hold
want to
on.
get to the Piper shit.
We will. Today is Will's 21st birthday. Swerve. It's not about the birth of TNA. That's what I wrote. Talk about mortality setting in. My son, William James Russo, I cried like a child. He bought a huge, almost lifelike. Okay, to be fair, I'm making fun of him. I also cried when my child was born. But I did not buy a huge, almost lifelike My Pet Monster and placed it next to him on the bed. And then also a small T-shirt printed up that said "Will the Thrill." Yes, my son's named after my favorite baseball player, one of his favorite baseball players, Will the Thrill Clark. He calls his beloved Aunt Mary.
I want surveillance footage of Vince Russo, and this is, probably 1991. He's working at the video store, going into some Long Island print shop and asking for this Will the Thrill t-shirt for his newly born son.
Is he negotiating the price? Being in this kind of industry,
You know the family that used to run this shop? He's telling stories of the old neighborhood.
Amy. Let me tell you about the price I got on this. Did Vince baby trap Amy?
I'm just saying, I don't know if I know anything, but if I would have some recommendations for him, not coming to me, man. One shirt? So he calls his beloved Aunt Mary, the sister of my late grandmother on my mother's side. So Aunt Mary is basically his nana, because Nana's dead. He adores her. Then Aunt Mary passes 21 years later, and now Will's out of the house. Will's friends followed us to Colorado shortly after we moved. And before we could barely get settled in, Will moved into an apartment with his buddies from high school. Even though I would never let on to it, it broke my heart.
Man,
He's
ready to get out of there, man.
He watches
You
Will.
guys, you got to come to Colorado. You got to come here. We got to get an apartment. Get me the fuck
Weed
out of
is gonna be legal in X amount of years, dude. He sees
Dog
a
man
man.
was tipping me off.
Yeah, where's Dogman's chasing after the moving van?
You're in
Don't
charge,
leave
dog
me.
man. And then they
What am
change
I
the
supposed?
locks.
Yeah. What am I supposed to? He's out. He's like Futurama. He's out there the entire time. He saw no longer the child I'd held so tightly as I ran through the streets of New York, trying not to miss the start of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles concert at Radio City Music Hall. Or the toddler who used to crawl. This I liked. Or the toddler who used to crawl about my head as I tried to play 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, of Nintendo's Rygar before I had to work. Amy, the baby's bothering me again. Can I just play my Nintendo?
Rygar. I don't even know that one.
I don't. Gus, do you know that one?
I got it,
Uh-uh.
but yeah.
Or he's not the 10-year-old whose first home run I missed because I was working for a human being who just couldn't grasp the idea of family and that what was truly important. Will's only 30 minutes away, and I miss him every day. But hey, I still pay his car insurance, so I have some claim. Anyways, then he breaks in. This again, I write, and the margins are right. The birth of TNA. Hey, there was a big blow up in the North Metro and Friends Fantasy Baseball League yesterday. Basically, they agreed to a trade, and it was vetoed by the rest of the league. Why? Because the deal would have helped the Bonds is Unemployed, the name of my team. Bonds is Unemployed. My jealous peers simply don't want me back in the $90 again for 2 years in a row. So then I like that he acknowledges it. I pulled the old Vince Russo and threatened to take my baseball and go home.
What a bitch. Like, you're just admitting that you don't have friends. Like, these people are just here to...
I can't imagine the drama, just the petty bullshit drama that goes on within that fantasy.
They're like, this trade isn't fair. Well, guess what? I'll end the league then. Okay.
It's deferred money.
Again, that... and it's like... It like cemented Russo in my book. That 2014 website, Pyro and Ballyhoo, it was like so much fanfare for 2 months. Like, it was so short. And then it came out that he just wasn't paying the tech guy that he was partnered with. And just would rather shut down the site than pay him.
That comes into then you probably had thoughts when he's like, I was going church to church trying to find the they're like, what's our cut? And he's like, negligible. So getting back to Jeff, and I wrote, back? Vince, I need you to wrap my TV. I'll always remember that. I just had left a place that didn't want me at all. You mean WCW that sends you to a big fat contract?
No, he means WWE.
Oh, jeez.
But even then, Vince McMahon offered him just to collect a paycheck because he felt bad for the schlub. And he couldn't even, he's too dumb to, or whatever, to like just take the goddamn money.
Jim Barnett was a consultant for like 15 years. He knew to just take those checks and shut the fuck up.
Well, Jeff made it clear.
There's still time.
Jeff made it clear that he needed me. Jeff asked me if he'd be willing to go. I'd be willing to go to the next show, their second, TNA's second, and take a look-see. So then he goes, my next call is to Stephanie McMahon. How strange. I was now calling Stephanie instead of her old man. That's laughable.
Why?
I'm going to check out TNA, and I'll give you an answer regarding that consultant job when I get back. I like that Brian was like, no, he was our consultant. I reported. For 2 weeks, I reported to him, and then he quit.
So, see, I did my own timeline checking, too. And because he's already blurred this timeline so much, all the news at the time said he worked there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Peanut butter, come here.
She was taken aback. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. She knew she was in way over her head, and she knew she needed help. As a consultant, I was now no threat to her at all. I said, what is she like? What are you talking about? Why would she think a consultant is a threat to her? She's a McMahon. What's he talking about?
You just said she can never be fired. And now you're saying she's worried about getting fired.
So, Oh, also, by the way, do you notice that Vince never brought up the he brought up in another chapter that he pitched Glenn Gilberti to Vince McMahon, like bringing him in, and then that was part of the thing that soured everybody, like that guy that wrote the alien thing. He never brings it up again. But then, yeah, here he goes. He's about to go to TNA to maybe get a job, and he goes, "I need to bring Glenn Gilberti in with me." Glenn, who's always calling Vince, "Hey, you got a wrestling job to bring? Hey, what's going on?"
Well, it's more about Russo having his stupid bro culture.
His cronies.
Yeah.
Which he said it was one of the things he hates in wrestling. You get all those guys in, and it's everybody just know, and it's just ugh.
Good old boy network.
Yeah, then that
He wants the, what did he say, 14-inch Panasonic with Jerry Springer on it.
And then he's traveling to each promotion with Jimmy Borash and Glenn Gilberti on his arm and Ed Ferrara. Get Jerry Springer on the TV so I can write.
Do you think Aquaman could have come out of the water for 5 more minutes?
What? When Jerry Springer was canceled, Vince, small panic attack? How do I
Yeah, I don't think he's written since.
He definitely watched it way beyond its relevancy.
Oh, yeah.
It's still on syndication. The muse is still there. I think Glenn was leaning towards me going to the WWE only because I told him that he would be part of the package. Well, you fucking goofball. Why did you say that to him? I was leaning the other way for one reason. Jeff Jarrett. And then again it goes into Jeff Jarrett and Vince McMahon are as human beings. It's like comparing Edam's chocolate fudge cake to the Pathmark brand. There's no comparison. Do you know what he's talking about?
Edam's is his high standard?
That's okay. See, I thought I was wrong and being bougie, but I'm like,
No,
it's like $3 for a dozen donuts that are yellow in the inside with the black frosting.
Yeah,
which I used to eat, but
but that's not come on, that's not you're gonna
it's the real Megillah.
Oh my God, stop!
I don't eat sweets, so I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. Pathmark, Edam's.
Yeah,
I just
wrote grocery store ass donuts.
I just wrote, but I
once again, I think you're being willfully ignorant because there is a Seinfeld episode that mentions sentiments.
Sure.
You talking to me?
Yes, you saw it.
I didn't watch Seinfeld.
All of America watched, and you watched.
No, not me. I was watching Friends. What's Friends on? But all I wrote in the margin
was the inferior show that led into
no. That's the lead-in. That's getting the people watching.
They were scooping the heat from Seinfeld.
I just am now picturing Vince eating fudge, and Amy got the Pathmark brand, and he's not happy.
And then Amy's like, well, if you got the fucking New York job,
we could get Edam's. We could afford the good fudge.
Amy.
Jeff cared about you. Vince didn't. Face it. Now, Jeff could not pay me what Vince could. But that meant nothing to me. I said, what about the house?
Has Vince Russo in his life eaten a Fudgy the Whale?
Yes. I don't know what that is, but yes.
No, the Carvel, the Cookie Puss. Oh,
nothing.
All right,
Nothing
never mind. It's a Long Island ice cream thing.
I would assume.
And they have them in grocery stores too, like across the country. But okay, all right.
So, hold on. So one would have handed you the. Okay, so here's another one for him. Between Vince McMahon and Jeff Jarrett, one would have handed you the last peanut butter and jelly sandwich left on the planet. 3 question marks that I wrote down, with a smile on his face. The other would have sold you a quarter of it for $50.
No, Vince would have pooped on it and then would have
eat it.
Wait, yeah,
Eat it. But there's still the Jerry factor, remember? And I was like, yes. Not only did I not want to come between Jeff and his dad, Jerry just didn't like me. So in an odd way, Vince feels, and I was like, oh god, here we go, this weird shit again. Jerry, Jeff's dad, was jealous of the relationship I had with his son. Jeff and I were close, perhaps even closer than father and son.
Kind of weird.
I mean,
Some reason,
again, Russo babyfaces Jerry Jarrett. Because I'm like so in Jerry Jarrett's corner. Like, and Russo thinks he's going to get a punchline. I'm just going to say it now. When he's like, Jerry fired Jeff one night.
yeah,
That's a terrible thing. I'm like, I respect Jerry so much for doing that. Didn't you just say that Vince could never fire Stephanie and that's why you're giving him shit?
right,
Yep.
yes. Well, I mean, in this book, Vince is all about contradictions, and then one paragraph, and then the next paragraph, he's like, actually, it's this, and actually, he's unknowable. He's always moving. He's a moving target. I just, with this thing with him and the sons, and always like inserting himself into like the family stuff, and it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Jerry made me feel like he was somewhat intimidated by this. Vince Russo had some kind of power over Jeff Jarrett, but these are just my thoughts and my insights.
Jerry probably wants to see his son succeed and doesn't need this fucking idiot.
What are
fucking
you?
it up.
What are you doing?
You are ruining my son.
So Jeff calls the next day and asks him what would it take financially to come to TNA, because Jeff apparently is an idiot and buys the WWE thing. I give a number that was well below what Vince was offering me for the consultant position, and Jeff says he can do it. I called Stephanie the next day and declined the WWE position of consultant. Needless to say, she was shocked. Turning down the machine for the little train that couldn't was ridiculous. I knew it and she knew it, but she didn't know Jeff Jarrett, or her father for that matter, like I did. Steph doesn't know. Well, maybe Steph didn't know Vince. I don't know. She resigned.
Yeah, it sounded like she knew a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't wanted at the WWE. I wasn't going to go to a place that was going to make it difficult for me to perform. I wasn't going to pay any penance for anybody or anything, because I made the decision to leave the mighty empire a few years earlier in the best interest of my family.
If the best interest in your family was just shutting up and taking the money.
He's going to Nashville. Chapter 40.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack, Chrissy, and Janet. Three's a crowd. So he's running the first couple of TNA shows. Jeff's handing them off to Jerry for his final say. Because, Jerry Jarrett actually owns this thing. I knew that Jeff didn't want it this way. He relied on Jerry because Jerry had been there. And then he goes into his whole thing of, the principles of professional wrestling will always stay the same. But, that was the 70s and 80s. It's so radically different now.
Yes.
I was going to respect the way that he wanted to go about business, even if I disagreed with it. I was like, what principle we've talked about, what of old pro wrestling is Vince like adhering to?
What do you mean, what old wrestling? He's saying not to do that.
Exactly. Well, he's always just like, there's always the standards you gotta stick to, but then everything else you can tear apart, and it's like, no, you can't. You really can't do too much with wrestling. Like,
yes,
even like what did people like the Lucha Underground? It's like a soap opera. Okay.
Yep.
It's got more supernatural stuff than usual. Okay.
You think Russo watched Lucha Underground?
No, if he's not even keeping up with WWE, he's not watching anything.
And but then he says he loves wrestling so much. But then it seems like he hates it.
Yes. Isn't that?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's true. Oh my God. Oh no. We're all Russo. Oh no. We get sucked into the book. So he goes, at the end of the day, TNA was just baby, and I was going to respect the way he wanted to go about business, even if I disagreed with it. And I was like, okay, here we go again. This is what WCW was, but you had the final say there. You don't even have the final say here, and you had a problem in WCW. What are you doing? This is what he remembers about TNA in the beginning. I remember most about this time I was not getting paid. I remember this because on the first day that they missed their paychecks, Ed Ferrara packed up his desk and headed out.
My man, down to Full Sail to teach creative writing.
He goes, in a way, I didn't blame Ed. I was like, in a way. My case was different because I was closer to Jeff. And I had faith in him, and I wrote, poor Amy. Jeff told me that even though he had no idea how, he'd make up those missed paychecks, and I believed him.
I mean, I gotta quibble with Jerry Jarrett. Why do you gotta pay both of them?
Right.
You don't even know if you need two
What
fucking
is
guys.
What is the conversation with Jeff, your son, when he's like, I'm bringing Vince in to write our creative?
Not only that though, but Jerry, this is a downtime for the business. There's not enough spots in the WWE.
You think
You don't need, you're making things overly complicated. Let's trim the fat.
You think Jeff just sold it on, he's a name, he might get us a rating.
I think that was used many times.
He's known.
But it feels almost as silly as OVW's creative endeavors.
Right, exactly.
When you say OVW's creative endeavors, I legitimately just go, oh, my mind immediately, boom, goes to Al Snow with his fingers in front of his, tented in front of his face. Mm-hmm.
Cash flow.
You got to sell it. When your mom comes out, you got to sell it.
Oh, what does our boy Matt think of Luigi?
I don't think has he made it over to Blue Sky? I
don't
think
know,
he
yeah.
has. I think we looked.
Matt's got a Goodreads account. I like the Lorax too.
Well, yeah, remember he had that massive book wall behind him, and it's
Yep.
You know what? I thought Matt Iglesias had some points.
We should be nicer to Matt, and I think we should book for him for free.
He's so hard because he's so fucking goofy, and then you find his beliefs, and it's like, oh, that's endearing. But then you go back, and he's paying Al Snow money. He's paying
I know. There's a mark against his character. But
Greenberg, I expect some shady stuff from the mayor of Louisville. Jones, I don't know about.
Him bringing his mom to the shows, being like, "Mom, look," and it's like, you're already a successful radio guy. Like, what? What is this?
Well, I told you the wrestling was going to pan out.
I'm
Aren't
like
you
Vince.
proud of me?
I know. All that time you said I was wasting in front of the TV. Look, I'm like Vince McMahon. Not like that. No, he says, whoa, remember when I said that? Not like that. So, Jeff and Jill invite Vince and his family to the Hendersonville property.
Jeff and Jill went up the hill with a buck
Yeah.
and a quarter. Jill came down with $2.50.
Jeff told me that a woman was doing PR for TNA, and her name was Dixie Carter, and that she had a wealthy father, and he was a business tycoon in Dallas. And they're going to schedule...
Jeff uncomfortable. Or, excuse me, Vince.
Um,
there was feelings.
And Vince says, because of a series of events and words that happened and were said in that afternoon, and I wrote, I hate this. I hate how he writes. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what brought it on, but in the nicest way that he could, Jeff said that my life was getting out of control. This is very fascinating because Vince is admittedly
He's like weeks into this.
And Vince does nothing. He says he does no drugs, no alcohol, nothing, just fantasy sports. And Jeff is sitting by this lake going, Vince, you're out of control. Maybe it had something to do with my two teenage boys running rampant, disrespecting everything and everybody along the way. Well, that's nice.
So they're desperate for attention from their absentee father and their mother, who's probably
drinking box wine.
Exactly.
What are the sons doing? Look, Dad, I'm shoving this ore up my ass.
That's where your head goes.
I don't know. How are you disrespecting the lake house? What is he doing? Keep the boat chained up. No, I got the paddleboard on my head.
They didn't put the patio chair cushions in the
Yeah.
chair.
Well, they threw. Okay, so this will be my third one. It's when Tony Blundetto's kids threw the chair into the pool.
Yeah. Wait, what are they doing? They're disrespecting everything and everybody. Jill, you look like you got cancer, bitch.
Oh, what are we, shock jocks? What is
Well,
this?
I don't know what he's disrespecting. What is he doing? What are they saying?
That's got
Disrespecting
a
everybody
red
and
card
everything.
for me. That's a.
I'm trying to honestly understand what they're saying or doing.
I know you're doing a character,
I know I'm not doing
but
a bit.
sponsors might not.
Oh, God.
Blue Chew's never gonna throw us any money.
So he goes, or maybe it had to do with me being in my own little world. Oh, he must be booking. To the point you wouldn't even know Amy and I were a couple, let alone married. What's he doing? Fondling his swimsuit area? What's happening here? What's he talking about? He's on his little world. They don't know that he's married.
I don't.
Just
know.
got to go and sit down next to him and go, look, your kids are calling my wife a bitch. You're rummaging. I don't even know if you're married anymore, man. This is weird. It's all weird shit. But he was a friend, an honest friend, what a friend should be. God did not come into the equation. Jeff had met with Dixie Carter's parents, Bob and Janice, the real McGilla. And they owned Panda Energy. They had financial clout. And Dixie saw something in both Jeff and his company.
Oh, you put in my blue chips.
So they came to an agreement with the Carters, and Jeff made up for my lost pay, just like he promised. According to Jerry Jarrett, though, the only reason the Carters made the investment team A was because of him, Jerry.
I'm gonna guess he was getting $1,500 a week.
Who,
Yeah,
Vince?
that sounds good.
Vince
Yeah.
Russo. 2002. No prospects.
Well, this is where he goes. He just says Jerry took all the credit, even though I didn't believe that for a New York Minute. I was like, wait, New York Minute means a quick amount of time.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do? Call Jerry Jarrett a liar? Well, now here's the Jeff factor. Again, I hate this. We got the Jerry factor, we got the Jeff factor. Here we go. Jerry's the cock of the walk. Now he says that if he wasn't in charge of creative, that the Carters would pull their money out. So Jerry Jarrett took over creative. I said he already was. He's already telling you. You are giving him the scripts.
Yes.
So he has a meeting with Jerry. It's barely a shade prettier than the one I had with J.G. Dillon. I told Jerry just how bad I thought creative was. I was totally out of line on my part. The look on Jerry's face, I really can't describe it. What a writer. All I can remember is seeing the smirk on Ron Harris's face. Ron Harris is there. From
He's
there,
the one with the SS tattoo on the left arm.
How? This is what I had saying it. First, yes, Russo before he said he doesn't know which one it is, so he's lying right now. He's being disingenuous.
Correct.
How would Ron Harris know what good creative is? All those years is the Blue Brothers or the DOA.
that's true.
Thinking back to that Los Boricuas match they had. I mean,
They think their best run is in suits for the powers that be.
yeah.
Vince knows how to handle us. From there, Jerry shut me off completely. I remember felling really bad about it. I remember felling and apologizing to him later.
Bang up job over at ECW Press.
Soon thereafter, Jerry, Jeff, and I all met at Jerry's estate, quote unquote.
I bet Jerry's got a estate. Land's cheap in Tennessee when he probably bought it, and he's got like lumber money.
Yeah, I was saying.
There's
He
rents.
was a guy who didn't lose money.
So they hashed it out again. Jeff and I went out to a very late dinner. I think it was IHOP, and I wrote, Jesus.
The plates weren't big enough, though. Remember, those waffle plates aren't big enough.
Yeah. Where do you put the syrup? And for the very first time, we felt extremely uncomfortable around each other. Maybe because you guys just had a meeting, and now you're going to IHOP because you're degenerates for dinner.
I've done that. What's wrong with getting IHOP for dinner?
It's
I mean, I'm fine with breakfast for dinner, but you guys are working
You
together.
guys are elitists.
I don't know. I've said it before. IHOP is like I'm in a city I'm not used to, and I just want to get something, and I don't know the hip spot to go to.
Who pitched
I
it?
am
Who was like,
elitist, though.
where do you guys want to meet up? And Jeff
It's
Jarrett
probably by the hotel.
was it Jeff Jarrett? Well, no, they went to his house. This is where they lived.
I don't know.
I don't know
Jeff
how much
Jarrett,
is
like-
in Hendersonville, so this might be the only.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Jeff Jarrett was like, I know the guy. He can get us a deal at the IHOP.
I'm not an elitist because I'll be at the Waffle House.
Well, the other thing though too, if there's cash flow problems,
That's true.
you're not going to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh,
You're,
Jeff's got money. He got his 250 grand to job to China.
oh, jeez.
Got the
I think
China
we're
money.
I think we're gonna finish this book tonight.
Just get the Piper. That's all I'm waiting for.
To this day, he talks about it's hard to get Jeff's opinion about Jerry and his emotions out of him. To this day, I have to pull his true feelings from him, even though that has changed drastically since his wife Jill passed away. Got it.
Again, Russo, I don't know. Maybe he's on the spectrum. Why do you think a guy's
No,
going
I'm
to
not
bury
thinking that.
his father or a father to son?
I don't know. He's not reading the room. I mean,
I can't believe they like each other. What's the deal? Like,
well, here we go. This is where he gets into, what bothered me is that Jerry Jarrett always told this story about Jeff's first job was to drive Jerry the King Lawler. And then Lawler would change the radio station when he'd get in the car. And it would annoy Jeff. And then Jarrett finally had enough and cut a scathing promo on Lawler. And he never touched his car radio again. But then he went to Jerry. And Jerry, in his own words, says, "You know what I did? I fired my son." Jerry laughed about it like it was the greatest thing he'd ever done. Will and VJ did some stupid things while working a CD warehouse, but to fire them and then boast about it? It was like dumber than Dogman.
they might have learned a lesson.
Yeah,
I
they
don't know.
they let the black kids go. That was the problem Vince had.
So he goes, I tapped out. He says, I'm leaving. And then one day Jeff calls him and goes, Vince, remember the sports entertainment extreme thing you used to talk about? We need to do it. You want to take a break or you want to get into sex?
Get into it.
Boom. Let's go. July 1st, 2008. It's been a while since I've written. A month, maybe two. They're right here. We are taking as long as he did to write it. Oh, that's where I wrote it. He's thinking again about his age and his mortality. He took Will to Las Vegas for his birthday. Father-son bonding. He's growing up at a pace. He's thinking about Harry Chapin's Cats in the Cradle because he's, tropey and cliche. I was him when I was that age. Some traits good, some not so good. Will has a tremendous, tremendous heart. Highlights? Well, there was a day spending the day with the great Professor Mike Tenay at the sports book, not too far from his Las Vegas home.
God, give me that afternoon.
Will, now remember, this is July 1st, 2008. Will bet on the NBA semifinals, and I wrote, how? Well, I
He
stuck with my...
He probably called Mike Tenay and placed a wager.
Hey, you know that bet you placed months earlier for the semifinals? Well, that did not happen. Will did not bet on the NBA semifinal. I mean, was not happening.
Hang
well,
on. I have a real problem. Yeah, while I stuck with my passion, hardball. Who calls it
hardball.
that?
Chris Matthews. Gotcha. Yeah, his passion, hardball. He bet on some old Pete Rose. If you told me 5 years ago that Vince Russo and Mike Tenay were going to spend a day off together, I would have accused you of being on the rum candy again. That's now you know he really doesn't really do much because he's calling you were on the rum candy. Mike Tenay and I were about as close as Batman and Mr. Freeze. I can't believe, did Jerry Lawler and Vince Russo get along? They're both kind of perverts, but was Jerry Lawler too much of a pervert?
Yeah, because Lawler actually fucks, and Vince he can't.
But he has that weird repressed with the Coca-Cola and the, you know what I mean?
I think
But he's
Russo's
still got his
too weird
vices.
Russo's weirder than I think both Lawler and McMahon.
For not being sexual,
Ooh.
you're right. At least
Yeah.
those are natural urges, if not contained, uncontained.
Maybe Russo's looking at Lawler and going, bro, you say the things I wish I could
Oh,
say.
yeah.
That Miss Kitty.
Oh, this is weird.
Mike is simply Mr. Sportsbook in that town.
I love that.
And he compares Mike Tenay in Vegas as spending time with Elvis smack in the middle of his heyday. People are walking up to Mike Tenay. Hey, Professor.
I know I criticize you, but I need to take a detour. The Great Will. We've heard about his movie views before, right?
Yeah.
Will Russo, and we're talking about him here.
Yeah.
October 30th, he quotes The Exorcist and says, "Man, The Exorcist, 1973, is a dang masterpiece." September 11th. It doesn't have to be September 11th. But
Never forget.
finally realizing that the mom from Modern Family is the girl in Happy Gilmore after all these years blew my mind.
Come on, man.
And then what's really weird,
You're talking about Julie Bowen. You're talking about Julie Bowen.
his cover photo is of his dad, of Vince. It's a Vince Russo shot. I don't have my dad.
What if Russo is running the page and
That's fail son shit. I'm sorry, that's fail son shit. Make your own mark. Make your own mark, man.
Anyone interested in going? Oh, you might have an ally here. Listen, hear him out. He's not a totally bad guy. Anyone interested in going to Neil Young tomorrow? I have 2 extra tickets.
I know a lot of shitheads that like Neil Young.
But then listen to this second sentence. Looking to sell for a little over face. What an asshole.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
you prick?
Let's see what else. No Leaf Clover by Metallica should be the next big St. Patrick's Day banger. Well, he's an Italian, so he can't comment.
When I was at my Neil Young concert, my buddy who was an Uber Neil Young fan, an older guy, he was like, "That's Neil Young's son on stage playing the thing." And I can't even pick up who's playing what, and I just yelled back, "He probably sucks." That's a Depo hire,
Good.
But then also, who's also was in Neil Young's band? What was the one guy from Bruce Springsteen? The one
Nils Lofgren.
The son of the one guy. Saxophone player or whoever. I don't know who the hell.
Clarence Clemens' son?
I think he was there. I think he was part of it. I feel like because he was pointing something out, and I was like, "Yeah, he probably sucks too."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Because I'm not really listening too much. I was kind of people watching, and again, he did Beatles for the encore, and I was like, "Boo!" I was open for no. I don't know what I was expecting.
So you're not buying those tickets for a little overface.
I don't even think you're right about this, Wilson, but I'm not even going to pursue it.
Look, I don't want to look. I already have such a deep rep on this podcast.
Listen, with Bruce being the way
it was a
he
black.
is-
Look, it was a black guy.
Okay.
Wait, you know
fine.
what? You know what? Wait, hold on. I saw Bruce Springsteen also live in concert. I might just be thinking of
His
that and
nephew,
molding them both.
His nephew plays with Bruce, not his son, and it's with Bruce and not Neil Young.
I might be
that was gonna
molding
my
the two
point in
concerts
that just
together.
that Bruce would not let a descendant that plays music of Clarence not be in his band. That's why I was surprised he was in Neil Young's band. In your
I might have just confused two guys together, seeing both of them. I mean, like, it's the same guy, right? You already said the one guy was there.
Okay.
A lot of
Anyways,
dad dancing at
Will
this.
seems like a
cool
guy.
Okay. Well, hold on, yes. But the highlight of the trip, and I was like, yes, highlights. You're talking about the highlights. I took Will to see Tom Jones at the MGM Grand. I knew Will was taking it as a total goof. It meant a lot to his old man. Remember how old now during this, Colin? Remember how old Vince Russo is. I knew Will was so man. There's something about entertainers that fascinates me. From Liza Minnelli to Sammy, Dean, Frank, and Tony Bennett. He likes the Rat Pack. Him and Sean Oliver. It's kind of a lost art. Now he's not going to put Tom Jones in the same category as the Rat Pack, but what he likes to see is a performer holding the audience in the palm of their hand. When TJ walked off the stage that night, my oldest son was wowed. And he hears Delilah. Me, I cried. Vince cries. He hears Tom Jones sing Delilah. Can we play just a little bit of Delilah? Can we do that?
I don't care. I hate all of this.
Colin, pause it, play a little bit of Delilah, and then picture Vince weeping.
Who knows any Tom Jones songs other than the one?
It's not unusual.
Yeah.
What's up, Pussycat?
Okay, maybe.
What's up?
Delilah. He's crying
Delilah.
over deep tracks here, which I appreciate, but not of Tom Jones.
What can I tell you? Tom got me early. Maybe his second song, Help Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a freaking sap. So, I wrote, here. Why? What happened to Vince in his youth? What happened? Well, because I put Red Skelton didn't make me. I don't cry when I see Red Skelton. My grandmother was a clown, and so I was always inundated with like old comedy, and like she always had Red Skelton VHSs playing, and I don't see Red Skelton now as an adult, and I start weeping, or anything, or like any old clowndom. I don't have what happened. Who did this to him? That Tom Jones is making him weep.
Yeah, I've seen some bucket list people, and I don't listen. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm even. Although I'm going through so many things in my head. I know you got weepy on your 40th birthday. I find myself getting a little weepier with age. I do.
I think that's just age, though.
But I never balled two songs into seeing a bucket list band.
I'm trying to even think. I mean, my bucket list would be like comedians, I guess, and I just don't even. No, nothing.
I don't think I would cry if I saw George Carlin. I'm not weird.
I didn't. I definitely had the thing of like, oh, this guy's so old. Because, I mean, he was just very old by that point. And I was like, it kind of came off the old man ranty. Like, well, yeah, but you're going to be dead soon, so. Yeah, the world sucks. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, but I'm also the worst at like a concert thing. My wife and I were like, let's go see Dinosaur Jr. because she likes Dinosaur Jr. a lot. And then one song played, and she was like, "You want to get out of here?" And I was like, I do. It's loud, and I can't even hear myself talk. And that's what you're here to do, right? Yeah. Let's see.
There are so many things I buy tickets to, and then we go, and 30 minutes in, I'm like, I'm cool. I experienced this. I'm good to go. Let's go hit the couch.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. When somebody goes, "Don't you want to experience this thing?" I go, "I know. I get it. I got it. I'm good." What do I do? Gus, do you have any like God-like experiences where you're like tears are streaming down your face?
I'm so broken at this point now.
Luigi was right. They've broken us. We need to fight back.
I got a little
I turned it into this
last week.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking of Jack Nicholson and The Departed? And you're like, that's what I should be doing.
Well, that was the opera.
That's full of coke and yes.
I don't know. I'm just saying maybe I'll give Vince a little bit, but not for Tom Jones.
Yeah, that's just come on.
What's
That's
up,
fucking
pussycat?
reasonable.
I'm sorry, Will. I said, "What's up, pussycat?" What if it was who's that one guy that sang oh, he's in Austin Powers, Burt Bacharach.
Well,
Yeah.
he's at least a credible musician.
What was his big song? What am I thinking of? He
What the
sings
world
it in
needs
the movie.
now.
Yeah, what the world? Would you get a little weepy for that? What the world needs? Is he alive? Is he dead? He's got to be dead,
He
right?
might be dead, yeah.
God, if he's alive.
But you
And
know
COVID
what?
hasn't
Listen, hang on. Hey, I'm gonna kind of blow your mind. I got weepy during that song once, live at a show. So there you
Fish
go.
show.
No, it wasn't
damn
a
it,
fish
you-
show. It was not a
Oh.
fish show.
Oh, I thought you said I had a fish show. I was gonna say, yeah, you're hopped up on goofballs.
No.
Where
He
did you
died
hear it?
last year at 94.
Well, rest in peace, Bert.
Yeah.
So he's getting sad about Tom Jones. He's crying like a freaking sap. Once in a lifetime bonus, I got to meet and shake hands with the great Tony Curtis. Again, this is where I was like, what? This guy's so old to you. My dad doesn't idolize this guy.
No.
This is not of your age range. What did your did Nana have some like it hot on a loop? What the fuck happened? And then Vince goes, he shakes his hand, and goes, "God bless you, sir." And then Will goes, "Who was that?" Well, let me put it in a language you can understand. Google him.
I don't
I was
even
like-
really know Tony Curtis.
Boston Strangler. You know, Father
There's
Jamie
no
Lee.
way I've seen a single one of his movies. Well, he
You've
was
seen
in
some- have you
Spartacus. Okay.
Something Like It Hot. You never seen Something Like It Hot?
No, I have not.
Movie podcast.
I know there's a lot of those old standards I haven't seen, but I don't. Who cares?
I care. My grandmother forced me to watch Red Skelton and Bozo the Clown on loops.
Oh, he had a bad rug late in his life, huh?
Like he would have been. I feel like he would have been canceled if he would have existed long enough. She asked for it. She wanted it. What do you want from me? But why is Vince acting like he's 90? He's not 90. He's like 40 at this point. So VJ graduates high school a couple weeks later after this Las Vegas trip. 2 down, 1 to go. Yep, more tears. Now he's 47. He's crying a lot, more than I ever did as a younger man. It's the Ric Flair syndrome. Time's passing you by. Everything is like you're like, oh God. I guess it started to become clear when I turned 40. I look at Will and VJ, 21 and 18 now, and I just can't remember when they were young. Okay, well that's maybe the concussions. I know they were once. I was there, but I can remember. The truth, I don't know. Is it that I can't remember? I just don't want to. Why would you not want to remember your children's childhood? I know you want me to get back to wrestling again because none of this means anything to you, but trust me, someday it will. So what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
Anyways, and then here's some whiplash for you. A wild tone shift. Anyways, let me spell it out for you. SEX. Sports Entertainment Extreme. It's the concept that's going to change the business forever. Hip, cutting edge, ingenious, dangerous, perhaps even more importantly, different. It's what the business desperately needed at the time. It just needed to be different. It's at the end of 2001, and the wrestling business was in a rut. You remember 2001? It was in a rut.
Yeah, after that national tragedy.
Well, not 2001, Wilson. 2002.
Well, that's what he says. It was towards the end of 2001.
Oh, okay.
The rest
Well,
of
I
the
mean,
business is in a rut.
if he says end, he's got a little bit of a point.
Okay.
Because really, after WrestleMania 01, it is Well, the invasion.
Or would you say the
dropped
invasion?
number,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say. I would say the invasion thing is like the peak, and then from there, and it's not even a
it
peak
was
because they could
already
have
going
done.
down.
It was
Yeah,
but
that was
they
like kind of the last.
they got the huge number that could have been. Of course, everybody Dave's like pushing up his glasses. It could have been bigger. It could have been bigger if they got the certain people.
Goldberg.
Everything on Mrs. TV was the same old, same old. Been there, seen it. You know, like the invasion. A million times. Wrestling had
see,
stopped
and that's
evolving.
how he's being disingenuous too. So maybe I'd come back around to agree with you in that the TV could have been terrible, but Russo has already said he wasn't watching. So why is he saying that? He's just looking at the number.
He's just logging on.
They haven't had a single abortion angle all year.
Wrestle One just told me the rating. Hold on, let me go. It's at the top of CRZ's review. Let me get that real quick. Did you ever write for CRZ, Larry?
I wrote for a website, but not CRZ, no.
I had a CRZ thing.
I did like 06 SmackDown reviews.
I wrote for 411, and the homophobia is rampant. Yeah, I wrote for 411. Wrote for CRZ. CRZ would is.
Did you have a nom de gear?
No, it's in there. No, you can find it. I review. By the way, I was first on the train of Doc Hendricks is a piece of shit.
Wow, my mind's gonna be blown in a second.
Hold on.
Wait, which 411 site though?
411 Mania.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look at that, April 20th, 2002. It's all still there when you type in my real name. Okay, my real name. No.
A full first name?
Here, I'll click it and then send you the.
Okay, because it doesn't work in the search for the site.
I'll send it into the Discord here.
Okay. Anyways, get on to TNA here.
I was trying to like Chris Hyatt was always talking with me, and I was always like hitting on, punching on Rick Sky and all like the villains.
You are so much more in the sauce than you leave.
I was in the sauce.
Gus and I nerds just for having watched the product, but you're talking about fucking inside people that.
Well, I was very like I wanted to write. I liked writing. I was like, all right, I'll just ramble. I was always upset. I was never invited to the rant. Look, no, I didn't get invited to the round table. I was kept being like, fuck these guys. In 2002, I was 18, I think, at the time. So this is me just being pissy. I'm reviewing WBF Excess.
What the fuck is Excess? And you're giving us shit? Excess?
I reviewed VHSs. I had WWF confirmed hits, WWF Shawn Michaels.
Oh, those are like the trash ass Walmart bin. Like,
look at the email address. Oh my god.
Is it a Juno account?
No, it's a Hotmail account. But I was trying to be like
Meltzer.
Let's see. Okay, where were we?
You're writing in the style of the day.
Oh no, it's 2002. It's 2002.
Yeah. God, I wish right before rehab I started my own site, and it's still up somewhere. And I had like people responding to me. It's too bad I went to rehab, but I started doing old shows. But I'll have to find them. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, I'm reading it too now. Hey, look at this. Hey, 2 weeks ago, Orton strips. This is my first look at Orton. Sexy. I don't remember seeing Orton. See, it's all obliterated from my mind. In my mind, I've never seen Orton until I started watching years and years later. So even that little 2002 blip. So yeah, it's time for sex. It was going to change the business forever. Everything's in a rut. Wrestling had just stopped evolving. It had gone back to being safe, just doing just enough. What it always knew how to do. Two guys in a ring, following an outline that was written 50 years earlier. It's just boring, predictable, and downright silly. Well, sports entertainment extreme was a concept that I wanted to try almost a decade earlier at WCW. See, now we've jumped again. Now, whoa! I truly believe then, as I do now, that the concept would take the business into the 21st century. The rules were simple. There are none. Everything you saw in the ring would be done spontaneously. Simply put, true reactions to true circumstances. Here's the key word, Gus. Reaction. Because there's bad actors in wrestling.
I don't remember ever hearing this.
Yeah, me either.
That this was all some weird pseudo shoot.
For every
I thought
good...
it was like a bad fucking like NWO.
Yeah, just a bad
thing.
storyline is how I remembered it. But he's like, I think he might be fudging this, that nobody knew what I was going to say.
It's bigger than this. For every good actor in wrestling, there's 4 bad ones, okay? And so to fix that, and by the way, he believes it still is a problem and needs to be changed drastically now. Bad acting in wrestling makes the product at times unwatchable. And I said, to be fair to Vince, and I'm going to give him credit right now, them making them act now is awful. It is fucking brutal. If you watch NXT,
yeah. You watch AEW, it's fucking shit.
But in sex, I would be the catalyst. I would hit the ring and nobody on the show would know I was coming. Especially Mike Tenay. We're simply making the players play off the circumstances. You had to be on your A game because I could come in at any moment, at any time. Unfortunately, this is also where the concept would falter. Wrestlers and other performers just weren't seasoned enough to pull it off.
Then so why then do it? You're not on fucking Whose Line Is It Anyway?
He's saying he'd go out there and some wrestlers would be going humna, 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 like Ralph Cramden.
And then...
Mike's reactions were so true that he had Vince believing that on more than one occasion that he was about to lay me out. To break down how this would work is simple. So he'd go to Jeff's house, right, on the day of TV. Usually yentying with his wife Jill. And then
he's such a misogynistic piece of shit.
At the appropriate time, I would get the call from Jeff, who was at the building. This is the time you need to show up. And this is who's going to be in the ring. There were never any directions on what to do. I would just do. So he'd go there. The Harris brothers are there to meet him at the door. He would hit the ring and then react to the situation. Jeff usually picked a spot where Mike Tenay was center stage. And I wrote, he spells Tenay for whatever reason. The look on Mike's face every time I interrupted him was pure genius. Man, that guy's such a pro. During the height of sex, it was a Halloween apostrophe een special.
Wait, you don't think he spells Tenay correctly?
He spells it Mike Teney.
Oh, I got AY in mine.
Yeah, mine is just EY here.
Okay.
He fixed that? They fixed that?
Yeah, Mike probably fucking called him up and he's like, listen, dude, I have to break your fucking knees if a new edition has been sent out immediately.
All the other ones we found and that got fixed? The look on Mike's
Mike
face.
has got stroke. You've seen him on the casino floor.
What about this? Larry? Halloween apostrophe een special.
I know.
And AJ Styles and I were dressed as Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. We spent the entire night in the crowd. Nobody knew it was us. And then Vince is saying he's poking Don West, right? The whole time.
He claims.
With his Freddy claw. And they're like, oh man, what's up with this crowd? And then, it's revealed that it's AJ and Vince. Don looked like he'd been had, like a man had never been had before. Got that sentence? Fucking hell.
It was a weird one.
And that's what sex was all about. And I said, what happened to the ratings? What's
Yep.
going on?
Well, there are no ratings. There's weekly pay-per-view buys, and they're like 302.
Another incident that stands out because he only remembers incidents. It had to be the most impromptu thing in the history of professional wrestling, and I'm not exaggerating. The incident would have been talked about for decades if the fans actually knew what was going on. Are you ready? You ready? You got pulled up, Larry?
Yep.
Even when I explain it to you now, you're not going to believe it. So he got the call from Jeff. He shows up at the asylum. He's waiting outside. He's getting mentally prepared to raise all kinds of symbol marks. And then he hears bagpipes. Roddy Piper's in the house. He's smiling. Jeff got one over on me. I didn't know anything about this. Then Roddy went on a diatribe about dead wrestlers. And Vince says he's standing there. He's like, whatever, who cares? And then Roddy Piper says, Vince Russo killed Owen Hart.
He does.
Not only couldn't I believe what I was hearing, but to be honest, those words made me literally lose my mind. It wasn't because Piper was accusing me of being a murderer. That didn't bother him. That's not it. It's because he had no idea, none whatsoever, about how much I truly loved Owen Hart. Did he know that Vince had a family? I mean, I loved Owen. Like family. Perhaps more than any other wrestler I'd ever worked with. To this day, I still haven't gotten over his death. I see Owen every single day. Whenever I take my eyes off my keyboard, I see him looking at me. Courtesy of his one and only WWF magazine cover. So I guess it's hanging nearby. I said,
I just
by the
wanted
way,
to get
Vince,
through his description before we see the
by the
real
way,
thing.
this is also Vince admitting that he looks at the keyboard when he types like a fucking moron.
Well, hey, to be fair, we saw he's got a keyboard, remember? And he had pictures on it. Remember he had a music keyboard. Remember when we were watching his stream?
That's right, yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
took that to mean, so.
You know what? Whether it was a shoot or Roddy Piper work, I didn't give a shit about his symbol marks. All I knew was that somebody had to shut him up. I'm just going to do Vince's version. Fortunately, my brain kicked in just about at the right moment. He's going in there. He's gonna kick the shit out of Roddy Piper. He's running on adrenaline, but the Hulk Hogan lawsuit popped into his head. Piper turned and saw him. His expression was one of shock, to say the least. Piper had to do something. Folks, I promise you this was not part of the show. At this point, I'm nervous, not really knowing Piper that well, even though I had worked with him before. I had no idea if he was really a schizophrenic or was all just an act. I was like, didn't you just say that these need to be seasoned performers, and now you have a seasoned performer in there, and you're like, I don't know if it's real or fake. Help me!
I know.
So now he's like, I'm at a loss. I'm the not seasoned performer. And Piper gingerly pie-faced me and walked out of the ring. Cool. Let's play it.
Okay. All right. Share screen. Roddy Piper shoot. On Vince Russo. Okay.
Vince Russo said he is the Antichrist of professional wrestling.
I want to say we've been talking for like 5 minutes already about his book, and the crowd is, not.
Oh yeah, they're done. Doesn't he have this weird cocksucker boy with him too?
Yes.
I'm gonna lose the blue chew.
That was his
Blue
name.
Chew is fine with
I'm doing a
cocksucker.
bit about Vince Russo's kids.
And if you have your own manservant, I have the pill for you.
Oh no.
Use promo code cocksucker.
You are simply the Ben Laden of professional wrestling. Whoa! You are a coward.
The crowd is so disinterested.
And sneaks in by
He's not. This is 9 months after 9/11. That's pretty. That's a little soon.
Why is Roddy dyeing his hair jet black?
All kinds of things for the WWF.
Concerning.
I have this question. Hey, Russo, did you write in my cousin Owen's death?
Oh my
Did
God!
you write home? Did you ask about his family?
That's a Vince shot.
He was my cousin.
He had a family.
He's dead. Why?
Not his cousin.
Yeah, I know. That's
Because
rude.
someone like
You can hear the air
knows
leave the
nothing about
building,
the
though.
technicalities. Put somebody 90 feet up. Why? There's no consequences to pay for you. Well, you know what? Everybody.
Vince wrote this. Vince wrote this.
You piece
No
of
question.
garbage. You piece of garbage, Russo. I tell you what. I may be on a step every once in a while, but I ain't forgot.
Vince
how to
wrote
dance.
You
this.
should find the Observer following this.
On the back of my shirt is 10 men that have died, given their hearts to a sport that gave my life. I wear this black band because if we do not stop Russo, he will kill professional.
So yeah, this
wrestling
is a
for
bit.
every one of you. Unless
So it's even dumber that Vince presents this as like a shoot.
No,
20 pound Samoan in the thong sitting.
I disagree. I don't doubt that Piper, because Piper's fucking batshit too. It's just two batshit people. It's like the fucking Edge Ricky Starks thing where it's like, yeah, let's go out there and shoot, and then someone says something a little too. You're like, oh well, I didn't mean, don't.
Yeah,
go
but he's
there.
wearing an arm. He's wearing an armband. He's like prepared. He's like,
But
I got
that's because
this.
he's in his phase where he's ready to die because all of his friends are dying. Though this is Roddy working out his own problems.
Well, I don't know. Is that okay? Right? Has he threatened Brian Alvarez yet?
It's about this
You don't
time.
have that kind of money.
Money.
Lock
Wait,
it down.
Sergeant Slaughter, you
Come
little
on
puke.
out. Come on now, Russo.
So
Oh,
he
wait,
obviously. So right, that part is false. He
Yeah,
obviously
Russo.
knew Russo was there.
Russo's blind with rage. He's like, how dare you? How dare you?
I know how to beat Vince Russo.
Vince Russo walks like a moron, by the way. Can I just say that? Is that a critique? The way he walks, like he just stomps forward.
Pride, one that knows the entertainment value is in the ring, wrestling, so you and your kids
You gotta have
can sit
characters.
down and enjoy it.
Roddy Piper would agree with Tony Khan.
When Russo was in the
Here he goes.
Here it is, face-to-face confrontation.
Chomping his gum.
You're not a pimple on my ass.
Oh, man, this is priceless.
I want to ask you some questions here, champ. Did you kill Owen Hart?
Oh my God!
I want to ask you some questions, champ. How do you take over the WCW $67 million to the good and get it $80 million to the bad? How did you do that? That's genius. That's pure genius. Don't have an answer for that one?
Yeah, I got an answer for that one. You're going to give me the microphone?
No.
Breathe in my face like a moron.
No. This is what
I like that. I'm sorry.
But you have to explain to me.
I like
what
that.
is it you are trying to accomplish?
Right, not a pie face. He straight up
Didn't
boxed
pass
his ear.
this. Yeah, he tapped him. He's like, answer. Come on. Bring the best stuff you got.
You let me hold that microphone and I'll talk. Otherwise,
Sure, absolutely I will. How do you like being played with? Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? The thing is this, man. He says the act is
Piper
over.
sucks.
He used to call me a dinosaur. Myself, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. You're not a pimple on Hogan's ass, man. And I sent you a tape, didn't I, Wiseau? I sent you a tape of how to turn the WCW around, but no.
He sent a
we
tape?
have this great concept that we're not
Was it him
actually
sitting in an empty room being like, all right, we got to do Ric Flair Piper again.
Again, Piper's fucking.
He's
Well, what you made is simply soft pornography. That's all you got. What
That's
you're
true.
doing is you're killing my kids back there. Young men that are coming up. I agree with you on one thing.
Has his kid made it yet?
My time is over. But you know what? You're the dinosaur
I don't know
now,
if it.
man. You're the one that needs to go bye-bye. So it's like this, buddy.
Mm-mm.
Running Don Harris in the ring.
Oh, here we go.
No.
It's a shoot.
Absolutely. There you go. Well, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Oh, come on. There you go. Come on. Hey, come on and get it. Come on and get it. How do you like being manipulated? How do you like playing with it, huh? Oh, you're not fast enough for me, baby. I'll tell you something. I'm going to be watching, and you're going to learn one thing. You don't throw rocks at a guy who's got a machine gun. This one. Oh, no. I will
This makes me hate Roddy Piper.
Mhm.
Somehow.
Oh,
Somehow,
yeah,
some way. Yeah.
no.
Roddy Piper, the shoot interview is coming to you. Watch it. Friday night, we'll tell you exactly what I think he is.
I don't know
And I
what
like
that reference is. Friday night shoot interview.
Yeah, maybe he had there's a pay-per-view. Or, that's why, yeah, I wish I had
Mike Tenay, what would that would have been on? Yeah, at the time. Yeah, pay-per-view. Pay $1 to see Mike Tenay talk to Roddy Piper. All right, here we go. Now, Vince
Bizarre
is yeah.
though, right? I mean, what the fuck? I remember Meltzer talking about that on Observer Live back then, and him not really knowing what to make of it. And
Well,
I think
yeah, he goes-
Piper might have come on the show at the time.
Well, Vince says, remember, this was a live pay-per-view. Screw this show, screw Jeff, screw TNA. If Jeff wants to play ha-ha, and he says, hey, shout out to old Pat Patterson, then I'm going to play ha-ha. I decide that I'm not leaving the ring and that the live show is going to come to a complete standstill. Ladies and gentlemen, even though those watching didn't have a clue as to what was really going on, this was television at its best. We just watched it. Was that television at its best?
No, it was unwatchable and uncomfortable.
That's
It
it.
made you feel something, bro. Even though I wasn't sure which one it was, it didn't matter. Oh, that's what he's talking about, like the Harris brothers. He said to me, half serious and half laughing, oh, let's face it, this was all very entertaining. So the Harris brother, not sure which one it was. Yeah, we know, man. We know. This is so many pages into the book. The Harris brother, still not sure which one it was. This is 3 or 4 times in one page. Came back out. Vince, Jeff said that if you don't leave the ring that I should kill you. Now you have to understand, they actually meant kill. These guys were pit bulls. So he leaves the ring. The Piper situation clearly put a strain on my personal situation with Jeff. Almost name was brought up by Piper. It was something that I just couldn't get by. That wasn't a rib up to me. It was serious.
Do you think I couldn't find, and I don't even care to look,
Yeah.
if he does stay in the ring, or do you think he's conflating with the?
No, I don't
Yeah,
know.
right then.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's impossible to find Vince Russo TNA footage except for like even though like the Jeff Jarrett Vince Russo thing you talked about earlier, I finally saw it recently, and it was within a recap of his run ish, that time period where he's just a fat slob in this jersey getting whacked with a chair. I'm going, who is this for? So he tells Jeff,
Oh, this little compilation video.
yeah, might be.
Okay.
So he goes to Jeff and he goes, I talked to Stephanie McMahon. I think I'm going to go to New York. It was a bald-faced lie. We had reached rock bottom. I never imagined we could get any lower than a few short weeks later. And it goes to October 3rd, 2008. This is where he goes, reading through my first draft, there was more than one? I realized I forgot to include a pivotal story about something that Jeff and I debate to this day. I'll tell my side. This is where he talks about it. Yeah, this is where he talks about it. This here where Jeff beats the shit out of him. If Jeff wants to state his case, he needs to write his own book. There's no fair in wrestling. I brought the entire situation myself. So, during sex, he keeps telling Jeff over and over that like the talent needs to actually hit each other. They need to be as snug as possible. It needs to be real. They need to physically shoot on people. And I just couldn't understand why the boys couldn't really hit each other without hurting each other. And I was like, this dude has not learned from Brawl for All?
Or his own shit.
Yeah,
He
he's
got
been in the
concussed
ring.
like a million times doing nothing. Taking that Russian
dude-
leg sweep.
He's like 40-something. And he says, it was my belief that the guy should be professional enough to work real contact. Yeah, it's called real fighting, bro. MMA and box, it's real. Like, you can look at what happens when it's real. When I pitched this kind of stuff to Jeff, he usually just said nothing. It was a work. Ultimately, he showed me a form of respect with his deafening silence by not commenting on my innovative idea rather than bearing it. And I was like, so this is how sensitive Vince is. If you were to look at him and go, dude, come on, you just did Brawl. Like, come on, that's shit. He'd be like, how dare you? I quit. But if you just look at him and stare and go, okay, we're going to move on to the next thing. We'll table that. He's like, that's the respect. You didn't call me an idiot to my face right then. Thank you.
Yes.
But I know that you think I'm dumb. So thank you for not saying it out loud. So the script called for me to attack Double J. I went into business for myself. He's like, I'm going to do it. So for the first time in the history of TNA, there was going to be a real fight. And he recounts his fight history. When he was 16 years old, Billy Reyes, first and last name, put him in a headlock. I threw a right uppercut, catching and blooding Billy's nose. Then at 20, I was cold cocked square in the jaw by an Indiana State University of Evansville basketball player who didn't like a few things I had to say about his coach in the newspaper.
God.
He's not running the right plays.
He's not getting back on defense. He's
Yeah.
hot dogging it.
I was actually sort of.
This is why Bobby Knight kicks our ass every year.
He's not holding guys accountable. I was actually starting to believe I could take these guys. Are you for real? Vince, did you really think this? Come on now. Come on. So, he goes, in the weeks leading up to my brawl with Jeff, I began working out hard. 30 minutes of cardio a day.
Oh my god.
Do you really comprehend how out of my mind I had become? This was no joke. I was going to prove to Jeff that a controlled shoot could work in a fake wrestling world. I can't believe what I was reading this. I was like, I can't believe it. Is he being real? Is he being real? I'm sure he'd fold his arms right now and go, I'm working, yeah, or am I?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Jeff barely got a word out of his mouth when I hit the ring with the vengeance of a Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
That's unnecessary.
He grabbed a steel chair and started lambasting Double J. And then he goes, immediately he blows up. I was sucking air more frantically than Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet, and we had talked about, has Vince seen Blue Velvet? And he has.
I don't know.
We said, has Vince seen Blue Velvet? He has. My heart was racing like the Energizer Bunny on speed. Jeff saw this as clear as the boulder sky, and so Jeff beats the shit out of him with the chair. And he's going, help. And then he goes to the locker room area and he crumbles. I had learned a hard lesson. I was like, this is after WCW. To this day, I was still... He says, without Jeff beating the shit out of him with a chair, to this day, I'd be suggesting that the fake fighting could be real.
He's dumb. I don't know.
And
What do you
these
want?
are the things that the dirt sheet writers and the smarts will never understand. Unless you've been in the game, you'll never understand in your lifetime. And I was like, everybody understands it's fake. What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody thinks it's real. And that you have to go through real stuff to be like, this should be fake. Nobody needs to be pile driven for real to be like, that's not good. And then what does Jeff say to him?
What do you
I
want?
did what I would have done to any other wrestler in that situation. Let's keep going. Let's go. Rock bottom.
All right.
No
one more.
breaks.
One more.
No. We can go through this whole thing. I promise you.
No. I'm very tired. This is it.
Well, guess what? After the Owen incident, as he calls it, he worked with Roddy Piper, and there's no love. You know, it's fine. He was born again by that time. There's no animosity towards Hot Rod. So it's one of those Vince Russo things again, where it's like, it actually didn't matter. It's fine.
I know.
I'd like to think that he was just trying to sell T-shirts. I was like, what? Vince killed Owen T-shirts? I don't remember those.
Well, Roddy was wearing his own T-shirt on that show that we just saw. So.
Oh, so that was what it was?
Yeah.
Did you like how I called Vince Russo a murderer? Buy the T-shirt, and you support it. At this point, my relationship with Jeff had hit bottom. It was John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Let It Be session strained. What do you think about that, Larry, the music guy?
Whatever. I don't.
We're not taking the bait.
I mean, listen, we had a fucking 105-hour documentary released last Christmas by who's the guy, Peter Jackson, that showed us that, and it's a stupid reference.
They seem to be okay. Well, he tried to put himself in Jeff's shoes, but it's difficult. Because at that time of life, it was all about him. What a schmuck he calls himself. I had no idea what Jeff was dealing with at the time. So then he looks back.
Russo
in my
feels
mind,
like a guy who's always resetting expectations for himself. Every 6
Yeah.
months, I was nuts back then. I don't know what to tell you. But from here on out, and then the same thing happens again. And I was.
And he wanted his, yeah. And he'll go, I have no friends in this business. Well, guess what? In my mind, the Piper incident, and I wrote, pick a lane. Is it the Owen incident or the Piper incident? That was the last straw. I blame Jeff. The only one I could find solace in when it came to that, all that shit, was Jeff's wife, Jill. Let's just say she wasn't a big fan of the elder Jared either. I said, this is yucky. This is catty. You have to understand, I don't want to get too deep into this because I don't want to offend Jeff in any way. And I'm not speaking for Jill at all. And I wrote, here we go. You have to understand, I can't be specific. I'm not speaking for Jill, but to put it simply, was that true? Well, it's my perception. Jerry just treated Jeff like a child, a 35-year-old child. He had Jeff convinced that he couldn't do anything without him. It was none of my business, and still isn't to this day. But there's no doubt in my mind that done his way, TNA would be a success. He's talking about Double J. I was like, just do your job. I wrote, Vince Russo would still be getting opportunities in the business if he wasn't this fucking duplicitous worm.
That's very true.
If he just was like a dude that just fucking kept his head down and just was like, yeah, I'm in the business, I write angles and fucking bullshit, he would still be getting shots, at least being in the room. But because he's got all this weird shit he pulls in and makes fucking people uncomfortable, he's ostracized. He's one of the rare people. Like, Jim Cornette was even getting opportunities in NWA until he said the thing, and they were like, well,
yeah,
because of optics, we have to. Vince Russo could
I
even
bet
have.
Cornette will get a go around somewhere before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vince. Yeah, he'll get a run somewhere. NWA, what do they have to lose? Hire him back. Who gives a fuck? So then he goes on and on about like Jeff, Jarrett, and Jerry Jarrett's like relationship, and then he goes, "Okay, I've Dr. Filled you near to death. Let's move on." Filled. My first book, Forgiven, kind of began at this point with our relationship about as strained as Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth.
Come
Another
on,
music
man.
reference. Here we go. Which is it? It's Paul McCartney. John
Wasn't
Lennon?
Gilmore Girls like this, where they made like pop culture references like 6 a minute? That's what this is.
Well, I wrote stop, but I don't know if he's going to. So he's back in the CD warehouse in Atlanta. Worst case scenario, I'd go back to working with Dog Man. Jerry Jarrett calls him into the office. Jeff was in the room. Jeff's very uncomfortable. Vance, we have decided to bring Hulk Hogan into TNA, so we need to send you home. Now don't worry, we'll pay you while you're at home, but you need to get home. This was a dagger that went deeper than Piper's. I was like, what, he called you a murderer?
I know. Again, he's bad with hyperbole.
So he's looking at Jeff, and Jeff is just like sitting there. He says Jeff is red-faced and quiet. It's like, you know better, Jeff. This was about Hulk Hogan. The entire Bash at the Beach soap opera started simply because Hogan didn't want to do a job for Jeff, period. And I stood up to Hulk because I wasn't going to allow him to treat my friend Jeff Jarrett that way. I got dragged through court systems for all over 2 years of my life because I took a stand for Jeff. And now Jeff was bringing in Hulk Hogan, the same Hulk Hogan, into TNA. And I was going home. And I was like, that's the worked version. You presented that. What are you talking about? You're giving us the worked version.
Come here, Peanut. Peanut. Yeah.
So Jeff sat there and said nothing. Jerry did all the talking, and I knew that he was loving every minute of it. Jerry hated the fact that Jeff and I were close, and to this day he blames me for them not talking. This was his Avalon.
Oh my god.
I wrote, shut up. I was so disappointed in Jeff. And he doesn't, the Jarretts don't understand what Hogan put Vince through. He despised it. Being questioned over and over again. Being treated like I had raped or even murdered somebody.
Peanut, come here.
Cool.
When all I did was cut a make-believe wrestling promo.
Peanut, come here. Come up.
Vince does not like to be questioned, folks. This has been established. Do not question Vince on his pro wrestling. Even in the deposition, he was like, Amy, I feel like I'm being raped every day that they call me in. And they're like, did you really mean these things about Terry Bollea? They're raping me. I have to answer for what I said. He goes into shock. And he says that he can only assume he goes into shock because he just sat there while Jerry said this. Blank-faced, calmly taking it in. He thinks that he should cut an obscenity-laced promo on the guy, but no. He just sits there. So I went home and I got paid, just like Jerry said. I was back at CD Warehouse and had a lot of time on my hands. And all I could think about was Jeff. I grew insanely mad. I mean, insanely mad. And I wrote, what is this guy's fucking problem?
Yep.
I can remember being back in the office of my CD warehouse, and I was on the phone with TNA President Dixie Carter, and I was screaming like I don't even know what. I'm searching for the word right now, and I can't even describe it. Vince the writer. It just doesn't exist. No words exist for this. I buried Jeff to Dixie. Absolutely buried him. I never buried anyone more before or since. I called him every name in the book and ones that hadn't even been put in the book yet. I hated Jeff for what he'd done to me. And I was like, this is after WCW. What the fuck is happening? Jeff was like, hey man, you want to write my TV? My dad owns the company. And now Vince is on the phone with Daisy Carter being like, this fucking cocksucker piece of shit, motherfucker, cunt, this fucking.
And he's done that with Ed several times. Ed Ferrara, too. Except he doesn't really put it in the book, but, like, if you look online, there's, like, an old thing and it says, like, Ed and Vince no longer talk. But then they're back together in, like, 08 in TNA. And it just, again, it's just Russo resetting himself again. I don't know.
He did it with McMahon, too.
Yeah.
I hated Jeff. Then the strangest thing happened. The second after I slammed the phone down, following my verbal tirade with Dixie, I heard a voice as if someone were standing in the room next to me. Look at you. Look at what you've become. You once loved this man, and now you hate him like your worst enemy. Look at what you've become. That's the part where I turned crazy, right? Heard voices, had a religious experience. It was clear and it was audible. I don't do drugs, never have.
Ugh.
There were no customers in the store. It couldn't have been Dogman. His voice definitely didn't speak.
I think it's actually it could have been Dogman. I think
He's doing the real genius thing. Stop masturbating.
Right.
No, it was loud. It was clear. It took any shred of non-belief I ever had in God away instantly. You have to understand. A blanket of calm was thrown over me. I felt peace, absolute peace. Vince Russo was simply no longer Vince Russo. I never thought I'd be one of those people who found religion, but let me make one thing clear. I didn't find God. God found me. Why then? Why me? Throughout my entire life, I'd always had a good heart. It's like, right? Are we with this? So you say.
Yes.
I really was one of the good guys, Gus. I was one of the good guys. I was always honest and sincere, even to my own detriment. I never had a cutthroat attitude, and I never hurt other people, and I cry when I watch movies, especially Field of Dreams. This is somebody that's like, I'm a good guy. I donate to charities. What do you want from me? Yeah, I called your sister a bitch, but hello? Remember that one time that you donated some cans to the food bank?
What do you want?
My heart had turned pitch black. I sincerely hated Jeff at that time for what I felt he had done to me in our almost decade-old friendship. And I was like, you're being paid. What did he do to you? What did he do to you? And that's when I hit rock bottom and God stepped in. I'm not the same creature. So he calls Jeff after all this. Poor Jeff reading this. He's like, what the fuck? After I shared my experience with Jeff, our relationship suddenly and almost magically turned around. It's ironic how things turned out from there. Hogan's deal fell through, surprise, surprise, so I asked Jeff if I could return to TNA and deliver an in-ring promo, explaining the change in my life. So in front of a live audience in the hundreds who were watching on pay-per-view, I told the world that I had truly been forgiven. I wish I could find this. You cannot exist on pay-per-view. I can't find this. We would have to be on the Impact, whatever service, I imagine. I'm sure everybody thought this was Vince Russo full of New York BS. But it wasn't. I nearly broke down in the ring as I publicly declared that Jesus Christ was now my Lord and Savior, without blatantly saying it outright.
There you go.
And then when he got back from the ring, Jeff was waiting for me, and without saying a word, he embraced me. This was real. Jeff informed me that Sting that he had told Sting, yes, Vince Russo has become a Christian. Even though I'd worked with Sting at WCW, I didn't really work that closely with him. I'm sure he only thought of me as the brash, trash-talking big mouth from New York. No, sorry, New York. Sting literally tracked me down at the old asylum in Nashville and asked me if it was true. Then he would begin to poke and prod me a bit to see if I was indeed being honest. And then a few weeks later, Sting took me behind our production truck and recited the Lord's Prayer with me. Everything I had ever done, everything I'd ever done in the wrestling business. That's how he said. The good and the bad.
What would have done if he was faking it? Like when he would give him like a scorpion death trap. I gotcha.
My life suddenly not only had purpose, but more importantly, meaning. And I wrote, why do we really think Vince became born again? And after hearing Roddy say, he says he's the Antichrist, I genuinely believe that Vince Russo decided to become born again as an angle, a gimmick, a twist, a swerve. It's not like, does he talk about it a lot anymore? Is it his thing?
Not really. Not that
Has
I
he
see.
known? I feel like he just...
He like smokes weed now on his streams.
I'm sure Amy loves that.
I feel like it was just another thing where he was like, I'm going to flip it on its head. They think I'm the Antichrist. What if I'm the angel, actually? And again, we'll get into it next week, but Vince Russo, the only man that could never turn a dime on born-again Christianity. Somehow he's the one guy that loses money on that. He'd say, because it was real. Come on, guys. Let's go 5 hours.
No, we're done.
4 hours.
We're done.
Come on,
yeah,
guys.
done. No.
You guys don't have cocaine at the ready?
We have not taken a break. I desperately need a break, so that means it's bedtime.
All right.
Finish Russo.
Bye, guys. All right. Bye-bye. The end of Russo next week. Bye-bye.